It's showtime! And here in New England, it's sweater weather. That's right. We got sweater weather. A nice green sweater, nice and cozy. Very nice. I have some cashmere sweaters, but those are reserved for those really cold winter days. Well, here we are again. It is the third episode, the third week. I can't believe we've already made it 3 weeks into the Effluvium series on YouTube. And tonight I have two guests. I have Margie Noire, who many of you may well be familiar with, and Mel Villanueva. Oh God, I don't want to butcher anyone's name tonight. Mel Villanueva, the Nilla Wafers. Nilla Wafers. Both of them have a YouTube. Both of them have an Instagram profile. You can find those in the description for this live stream. And as a tradition, I will, at the beginning of each of these live streams, sample 3 fragrances. That's what the siren's all about, if you're picking up. It's the signal I'll be doing my first impressions. My first impressions. Very first impressions on 3 different fragrances. And the 3 that I will be sampling are as follows. Stefan Humbert Lucas, 777, or 777. 2022, Generation Man. I don't know anything about this fragrance. Not a lick of information about this fragrance. I got this as a freebie from Lucky Scent. I know about the house. I know that they have pretty cool caps on the bottles. They seem like one of those prestige brands, but I don't know too much about them. So that will be my first one. The next one in line, The Different Company, Debakmakov. I haven't explored anything yet from The Different Company, and this will be my first sample from the house. I have heard mixed reviews about The Different Company. I've heard that many of the fragrances are compelling to start off with, but fall flat through their development. I've heard that many are beautiful but fleeting, and I've heard still others are absolute duds. So I need to find out for myself. And this is the first one that I'm going to sample. And then, through recommendation, Hiram Green, Vivacious. Vivacious. So that's the third one. I already forgot what's even in the notes pyramid, what it's about. This is the fun of it. This is the fun of first impressions. I try to avoid as much bias as possible and just go right into it. Oh, hello. Really interested in Ajate Queer Narcotique from The Different Company. That was one that actually was interesting in trying as well. And there is Une Nuit Magnétique. That was another one I wanted to try. Celle de Vetiver. Thank you for coming. And you just spot on described A Different Company. It's all from hearsay. That's all that I've heard about them. But I want to give them a shot. So that's where one of these come in. So without further ado, oh wow, here I am. Influencer mode. I've ordered Yataghan based on your insight current formulation. Hopefully you were satisfied. I don't do refunds. What it do, baby? Stacks in this thing. Let's go. Okay, let us go. We're going to be having our guests coming in pretty soon. They'll be coming in at about 7:15, 7:20. But let's get this started with our first impressions. Okay, so we will start with the 2022 Generation Man from Stefan Humbert Lucas. Oh, double chin. I hate that. That's why I have a beard most of the time. Okay. All right. Don't even know the notes. Let's see how good I am at identifying the notes. Oh, okay. Reminding me of fruit punch. Do you want a Hawaiian punch? Hmm. Pleasant. Kind of like narcotic florals. Maybe ylang ylang, some jasmine, citrus, mango. I could be entirely off here, folks. Not really my cup of tea, but it's not bad so far. Top notes only. Moving on. My first time smelling anything from the different company is right now. De Bachmaninoff. I always want to say Bachmaninoff, like Rachmaninoff. Bachmaninoff. All right. Okay. I had forgotten what the notes pyramid is, trying to come into this with as little bias as possible. Ooh. See, there is that instinctual reaction from me. When I like top notes, that's what I do. I go, ooh, I've noticed that's what I do. So glad you could tune in, my friend. This has a shiso. Okay, well, I think I'm remembering what the notes are because this does smell like shiso leaf. And I love the smell of shiso leaf. I actually have some of the essential oil, and it's like those shiso leaves concentrated, obviously, because it's essential oil. And I love having them in food as well. Like umibishu, the plum paste with shiso leaf, those the rolls. I love those. That would be really cool to have a perfume with a plum and a shiso note. Hello, Fernando. I approve of this one so far. I like this one so far. Just first few minutes, couple minutes. I don't even think it's been a few minutes. So far, I am liking that. Okay. Yes. And the third one is Hiram Green Vivacious. Love the name. All right, I'm going to put it on my right wrist. Right wrist. Okay. This is supposed to be an all-natural brand, but I'm guessing they use natural isolates, for which there was much debate as to whether or not those should be included in natural perfumery. Another story for another time. Ooh. It does smell like natural perfumery, but it does have the isolates, which give a little bit more structure. So it's not sort of like this amorphous sort of group of essential oils and absolutes. So I like that. That's the kind of natural perfumery that I do like, is if they do consider the natural isolates to be a part of the palette. Yeah. This is pretty nice. I smell like something that reminds me of Carnation Absolute. Like not Carnation just like as an accord, but the actual Absolute, which is a very distinct scent. Okay. So far, not really too crazy about the Stéphane Humbert Lucas. Smells sort of like just like any kind of like fancy schmancy fragrance that I'd pick up at Neiman Marcus that is marketed to upwardly mobile people with a lot of disposable income who like fancy things and fancy bottles. And the different company, I really like this. So I'm going to revisit this and just deeper, go deeper with it. But of course, like later on in the live, I'm going to see how it develops. And then Vivacious, Hiram Green. Yeah, I'm digging this one too. So all right, we'll see who wins at the end of this stream. Last week it was a surprise with Ganymede because I honestly thought that I'd find that one to be ghastly, but it turned out to be not so bad at all. I kind of liked it, which is saying something because the other two were pretty meh, not so great. Okay, well, tonight or this morning or whatever time of the day you're tuning in, we're going to be discussing gender in scent. This is a topic for which most people, it's not even an issue. For still other people, they are adamant about only wearing fragrances that are marketed to their gender. And still others, it really depends on whether or not their nose perceives something to be too feminine for their masculine sensibility or too masculine for their feminine sensibility. There's plenty of people who kind of fall in between and they don't really care. And that's great too. So tonight we're going to chat about that, and we're also going to be discussing scents that could be very well unisex, that have crossover appeal. A woman marketed fragrance that could actually be more masculine today, or it could just very well be unisex, and vice versa. So we have a lot of fragrances that fall into that category, and a lot that are beloved in the fragrance community. I would love to hear some of the examples right now in the chat, some of your favorites. And I'll see if maybe one of those is sitting adjacent to me here, because I have a huge group of them. And the ones that I have do happen to be all female marketed fragrances that I find to be really unisex or even more masculine by today's standards. And I'm going to just look at the chat here. Pep, thank you so much for joining. Yes. Isn't that interesting? And I think it's mostly the top notes, which can be a little bit off-putting, but I liked it as it developed. Dan, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate having you here. And we have the first suggestion here, Reminiscence Patchouli. It is marketed towards women, but I find it heavily masculine. Wearing it now. Great example. I don't have it right next to me, but I have it right behind me here. And I don't want to step away and leave you all hanging just to grab that bottle, but there is nothing particularly feminine or masculine about it. I think that it is 100% unisex. Le Bleu. Oh, yes. That's sitting right over there too. And I have a big place in my heart for Le Bleu, particularly the EDP. And there are some people who say the EDP isn't unisex enough, but I say poo-poo to that. Alain Delon, Nikitos, a men's marketed fragrance that I think is very much unisex because it was originally used as the brief for Dior Poison. So it was supposed to be a woman's fragrance. So there you have it. Hello, Empty Scents. And hello. And here's some excellent examples, many of which I have here. And this is a great way to open. Min, would you feel comfortable wearing something like this just because of its name? Are you concerned about being associated with something called diva? Do you think people will get the wrong idea? Or is that idea even wrong? Should it even matter? Femme, however you want to pronounce it. Are you concerned that this will make you more feminine? Are you concerned that somehow this will emasculate you if you wear it? You shouldn't be so worried about it. Because in this day and age, both diva and femme, ooh, look at that glisten. Both of these, I would say, are considered unisex, even verging on more masculine than a lot of the masculine fragrances that are released today. Aromatics Elixir, which is one of my absolute favorites of all time, sitting right here. Some people might think of their auntie. Some people might think of it being a womanly scent, but it isn't really. I think it is superbly unisex. It's Bernard Chant. And Bernard Chant, all of his fragrances to me are unisex. All of them. They're kind of like interchangeable. In fact, he would do the same theme and just tweak a little bit of this and a little bit of that to create a men's version or woman's version. Vice versa. Which is what happened here with Aromatics Elixir, because Aromatics Elixir would be revisited in a different fragrance about 6 or 7 years later, if I'm not mistaken, with Aramis 900, also unisex. And I see Cocoa EDP, Rats. I don't have it right next to me. Don't want to walk away, but I do have Cabochard EDP. This is a newer bottle. This is a really excellent reformulation, and it brought it back to its true form. This was an EDP version that was released in 2019, and it is quite affordable. Lovely bottle, courtesy of Lalique, and a snazzy little bow. You could leave it on, you could take it off. Another Bernard Chant. And Pablo Picasso. Paloma Picasso. There you go. That's another one. This is one that could knock your socks off, but this is one where I would recommend getting an older formulation if you can. On the base of this bottle, we have Warner Cosmetics. So I would recommend, if you can, to find a bottle that is produced by Warner Cosmetics. The ones that are in stores are okay, but there's something a little bit missing. There's just a little hollowed out. It's just not, doesn't quite have that that soul that the older version has, which is sadly the case for a lot of reformulations that are, you know, not well taken care of. Seeking Obsession as well. I don't have a bottle with me, but excellent. All right, so I am going to bring in one of my guests who is waiting very patiently. I see her there. I'm going to bring in Mel, and we're going to continue this conversation because it's going to get too awkward if I'm just sitting here showing bottle. Hi.
Hi, JJ. Hi, chat. How are you?
How's it going?
Good, good. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. Excellent.
All right.
We have some interesting comments here. Jiki is the first gender neutral scent for me. Yes, Jiki is gender neutral. That's an interesting one where it was originally marketed to women, but most of its wearers ended up being men. And that's like as far back as like the 40s.
Yeah.
Leonard Pour Homme, that would be great unisex. That's the other way around. Pour Homme, great unisex for women as well. Féminité du Bois, which I had reviewed last week. Roche Femme is my very favorite my very favorite all-time perfumes.
I think Germs likes that one too.
Yeah.
He's in the chat as well. He likes Roche Femme.
Nice. It is difficult to keep up with the chat. I've noticed it's like
it is.
Before you know it, like I'm going. Well, I guess I'm not that bad. I'm at 714, but the chat's at 714 on that right now. Hello, good evening, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Jaipur is quite unisex. Yes, I agree.
I gotta thank you for having me on, JJ. It's a pleasure and an honor, I must say.
I like your energy. I've always liked your energy, and I think that you were a valuable contributor. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate you having me on. Just thinking of having me on, I was like, oh my God, yeah, of course.
So I want to get your thoughts on gender and scent. Like, what to you do you find to be for you in your own personal wear? Certain types of fragrances and notes that that you think may seem a little bit more masculine for you that you might tend to avoid? I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I kind of lean towards, like, logically, I know that fragrances obviously don't have gender. There's, they don't have genitals.
Right?
So, but I will, when I smell something, I will say in my head and out loud on my channel, I will say, like, this leans feminine, this leans masculine. For the most part, for me, something that's too masculine is usually like very woody and spicy.
Very woody and
So,
spicy.
yeah. So when something leans a little too heavy, and, like, let's say oud, or like cardamom even can throw me off. You know, things like that.
Yeah, I do agree that there are some spices and some herbs that do lean more masculine. I mean, if you look at the trend, I think certain, and of course there's exceptions to this, obviously, but like spices like clove, maybe unisex, they show up. But something like for some reason, I think you're right. Cardamom has certain, I think it's like its camphorous quality. Like it kind of has that bracing quality that almost kind of reminds you of like a bracing men's scent if it's in high quantity. Yeah. And then like for herbs like rosemary or thyme, maybe basil, they can kind of lean masculine too because they feel kind of like they're part of like a fougere. You know what I mean?
Sage too will do like that.
Sage.
Yeah, sage will. I will, in my mind, will be like, okay, this is a little too manly for me, but I love my florals. I'm like a white floral lover, and I know I've kind of told you that before, and I know we said we would chat about it one day, so we definitely got to get together.
Well, that's definitely, that is germane to this discussion because florals are a point of contention for a lot of guys, even though most of what they're wearing have florals in them, and they're just in denial. Right. They're there, but you're right. Like if they're really like narcotic white florals, that can be kind of challenging for men if they're front and center, and if there's nothing else to kind of counteract it, that can be a little challenging for a guy to feel like his usual manly self, which is why I think that the most successful unisex fragrances do have that dichotomy between having like jasmine and lily of the valley, but you have those spices and herbs and woods and vetiver to kind of pull it away from there a little bit.
Right.
And that's kind of what a lot of these fragrances, that's what's going on here, that, taste change and culturally ideas of scent change. So these woman scents from like, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 or more years ago today are feel perfectly normal on a guy because it's interesting. And we have a really good comment here. The idea of what's masculine and feminine seems to exist on a sliding scale throughout time and different cultures.
There you go.
Yes, cultural and temporal. It absolutely. It changes depending upon what part of the globe you're in, and it changes depending upon where you are in time. There was a time where lavender was considered more feminine. Now it's more masculine.
Right.
There was a time where violet was considered more masculine. Now it's considered more feminine. But actually now in the past couple of decades, it's unisex again. Yeah. So it really just changes over the decades. And it is mood. It really is, like, when it really comes down to it, it's up to the individual to decide, like, do I feel comfortable wearing this? Does this fit my style, the way I present myself? Because ultimately what that's all about. I would like to think that some people would be over giving a crap what other people think.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm out on the street and somebody says, like, are you wearing a woman's perfume? What's it to you? I doubt that would ever really even happen, but I think that's the legit, the fear that people have is that something like that's going to happen.
I don't know. I mean, like with my husband, I guess he's in the generation before mine. He's a boomer. and
Yeah.
I'm Generation X. So for him, like he loves gardenia on me, jasmine. But if I were to spray that stuff on him, he'd be like, "Oh hell no."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, I guess, a different mindset, during that time.
Yeah.
I think like Coco Noire
Yeah.
is one that is supposed to be like what female women marketed, but I think it could definitely be worn by a guy with like
Oh
no.
yeah.
I mean, this is what patchouli and this has cloves, I think, right? You were mentioning clove earlier.
Yeah. 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 It definitely has.
Absolutely beautiful and can definitely be worn by a dude. I can see this smelling great on my husband. Now, if he heard it was a women's targeted fragrance, he might shy away from it because of that.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's why you have to do the bait and switch. You have to kind of put it in a different bottle. I think for my review of Femme, my joke was like, if you feel so uncomfortable about it, man, just put like a little like a little sticker or label on here that says, man, and then you'll feel better. Yeah. Sorry that the bottle is a little curvy for some people's taste too. It's all cultural shit, though. It's like, what does it really mean, But yeah, I even I have a hard time like wearing most fragrances that have a heavy gardenia, because in my mind it doesn't really feel like it matches like my sensibility. But if it's sort of like a supporting note, maybe, and I think that's like the big difference. Like and then there are certain fragrances that I know are definitely feminine, but I just wear them at home. Like I wouldn't feel as comfortable wearing them out, but I would just like put them on my hands and enjoy them that way. It wouldn't even be so much like, yeah, I'm gonna go out with boys, wear the Rose Chateau, smell like this beautiful floral vanilla, wear a chiffon shirt, So yeah, there are things you could just wear for yourself. If you don't feel comfortable wearing them in public, wear them for yourself. Yeah. So we have our other guest waiting in the wings. I see her. We have Margie. Let's bring her in.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi guys. How you doing?
Hi.
How are you?
It's been a crazy work day. But I'm so excited for this topic, JJ. This is such a good topic.
I love this topic. I love challenging people with this topic because it's just so funny, especially with like the unisex, the female marketed fragrances that I recommend. There are still some out there who are afraid to even so much as be near that bottle, to touch it, because it was originally for ladies. You don't want to be associated with any lady things.
Yeah, exactly.
But
that's a tough thing. And it's funny because I didn't really start understanding what was truly unisex until maybe a year or two into, collecting. Because when I first got into this, I was not thinking about unisex fragrances. I was just like, what's going to make me smell good? Yeah. I want to smell feminine. I want to smell sexy. And so a lot of my collection started out with a lot of sexy things like florals, white florals. I was very drawn to white florals initially, and, honey and things that were very seductive kind of stuff. I was drawn to that. But later on, I became bored with that stuff. And then it was like, oh, what else can I explore? You know what I mean? On the men's side, because once you start delving into the men's side of perfumery, then it's it opens up a whole new world. You know what I mean? It's oh, there's all these other types of perfumes and, scent profiles. So it does kind of expand your horizons a little bit. And so I've really thought a lot about unisex. What does it mean to be unisex? What are guys comfortable with? What are they not comfortable with? You know what I mean? So it's been an interesting discovery.
An interesting journey, if you will, kind of getting out of your comfort zone. And then once after a while, it's what comfort zone? You don't even care anymore.
Exactly. That's when, that's when it kind of becomes even better, because you just open up, your options. But yeah.
Do you think it's easier to cross over as a female to the male fragrances than it is for the males? I think
You know
that's
what?
the thing too.
I think I want to say like maybe males are more resistant to it just because we know how men are. They're kind of hard-headed.
Right.
Like, I don't want any of that floral stuff. Or they won't even listen to like female reviewers sometimes, I notice. And sometimes I'm like, hey, I'm talking about a fragrance that is totally unisex. Like this would smell amazing on you, but they're not listening because they just assume that you're talking about a female fragrance.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. Well, the female voice is very important because a female perspective is another perspective to help you make a decision on for what whatever people are concerned with, because let's face it, a lot of people are concerned about what other people think of them and their fragrance. So it's the female voice is invaluable, and there needs to be more attention to that, which is why you two ladies are here, and I will continue to make sure that there is more there are more female voices in the discussion on fragrance. So I really like Pep's comment here. I wonder if there is always an element of men in particular not being secure in their masculinity, that they are hesitant in wearing things that are marketed to women. And I 100% agree. I think that there is, and some of it could be so ingrained that it's just hard to unlearn it. And I wouldn't like try to force it on someone, like just meet them where they are and okay, we get it. Like just keep wearing men. But, you know, if people are, if a guy's asking himself like, should I think this way? And my answer is no, get over it. If you're self-aware and they're like, I don't know, should I continue having this philosophy that I shouldn't touch any woman's fragrances? No, just stop thinking that, because you're going to open yourself to so many more, I mean, so many classic fragrances that I'm sitting right in front of me right here.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
I know. And even some of the modern ones too, like Lieb and, YSL Lieb and Mongerlant to me don't really, I mean, they are like very unisex. I mean, in my opinion.
Because Mongerlant has that lavender, right? So does that, so it kind of takes a little bit
aromatic touch to it with it has lavender and I forget what else. My mind is gonna go blank because I'm on the spot.
That's okay. There's a lot of perfume to remember. I started pulling some out. I'm like, what's unisex? And then I ended up with like 20 bottles here. So I'm like, oh shoot. It's got a lot.
It's freaking crazy. I have probably more like women's marketed scents in my collection than a lot of people just have scents. It's like it's like I think it's probably about 35% of all of my fragrances. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's why I like JJ when, like getting to know JJ, because it was like he kind of opened up my horizons, like unisex, and like not only that, but like don't let the price point like deter you from thinking it's a good fragrance. Like, there's this whole like it kind of opened me up, JJ. You opened me up to like this whole new like, wow, there's so much out there to explore. You know what I mean? So there really is. Which is
totally.
I love.
Totally like JJ's channel.
Oh, well, thank you.
From JJ's channel.
We're getting some compliments.
Oh,
thank you, Lewis. Thank you. And where's Margie's compliment?
Hey,
it's somewhere.
I think he sent me one earlier.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I think you hadn't even jumped on yet. That's why. Hey. I don't even think you were on yet, so I'm sure he has one for you too.
It's okay.
Because I'm like, I don't know, like 15 minutes behind on looking at the comment. So, hey, Anuj, thank you so much for tuning in. Yes.
It's fun to see everybody show up. Hi, Mr. Clean. Yes, it does smell good. Camphoraceous bracing.
Camphor bracing terpene.
I think this has coumarin in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Coumarin, I feel like, is just a universal thing. It's just like in every kind of fragrance, any kind of, no matter what gender, it's like it's just like it's like a building block of a fragrance. It's like bergamot. There's nothing like
too heavy. I'll feel like it is a little too masculine for me. That's just me.
Oh yeah, because it will feel kind of like a fougere.
Totally.
Yeah, totally. Because that's usually when it is pretty heavy, is when it's in the base of a fougere for sure. This guy loves jasmine and tuberose. This guy here does too.
Ooh, hell
Me
yeah.
too. I'm going to do a whole tuberose week on Instagram in a few weeks.
I'm ready.
Yes.
Unisex tuberose. People need to know.
Yeah.
In general, I don't like sweet or powdery or lipsticky scents, regardless of which gender they're targeted at. And that's true too. It can often be just like a matter of taste. I know, like men's lipstick, you know.
Yeah,
But-
it's true. I
Yeah,
don't
right.
like sweet
So
powder.
it may not even have so much to do with like whether it's, you know, marketed to a certain gender. It's just like a certain kind of vibe. If it's not not a vibe for you, leather, tobacco, and gasoline accords often push something over into the masculine territory.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm inclined to agree. Although we do have, you know, some of these
That smell-
older fragrances like Tabac Blonde and Abenita, which these are still really unisex today, but there were tobacco scents back in the day.
Yeah.
I love the whole Vaseline in the lens effect that's causing this glisten. Look at that. Like, that was accidental, but I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's true though, because I went through this leather phase and I have like a ton of leathers, and I was looking for like really soft suede like leathers. Like I kept hearing women say, "Oh, I like suede, not leather." So I try to go that direction, like get more suede, you know, leaning stuff. But now I have a good variety of leather fragrances. Some of them a little bit stronger. My strongest one, or my most like masculine one, is Bellamy. But I've got, you know, but so there is a range, you know what I mean? And I am okay with Bellamy, but maybe not necessarily like to go wear it out on a date or something. You know what I mean? And that's the other thing, like, what do you wear outside, right? Because like inside the house, I don't care. I'm gonna put on whatever I want. You know what I mean? But like outside of the house, it's like, how do you want to like, you know, put yourself out, you know, out there in the world? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Totally. I was just mentioning that with Melissa earlier, that there are certain fragrances that I have that were marketed to women, and I do think are not too unisex, that I like wearing anyways, but I tend to wear them more at home because I just feel like they don't fit my attire. It would be like if I just, you know, like I just would feel like it would not really complement me that well in the outside world, but I just wear it at home, like something like Lulu from Cacharel, which I love it, but it just wouldn't be something I'd wear out.
Yeah.
Or Rochat Tocade, which is one of my favorite lavenders.
Yeah.
I wear this like as a bedtime scent. I don't wear it out though because it's.
Have you tried that one, Melissa?
Tocade, no.
It's such
it's like
a
I know all these fragrances, but like Lulu, yes, because that was around when I was young.
Check out this. I have this bottle, JJ. It's like a totally funky, like 80s or 90s bottle. Tocade is.
Yeah.
But I think is it like an amber? To me, it's kind of like an amber, right? Or what do you get?
It's I call it like a floral vanillic amber.
Yeah, but it's, to me, that's like straight down the line unisex.
It's really the design is so like Memphis School. It reminds me of like that Memphis School design from like the 80s, even though it was a 90s fragrance with like, you know, the saturated colors and funny looking little like shapes and stuff. And then it has its little pedestal like
Yes, that's a good little cheapie right there.
It is a great.
It's up for like $30 or something, but it is. It's like, to me, it's just a nice amber, like a unisex amber, and that's funny. I don't know if we're gonna get into specific fragrances, JJ, but like what I kind of figured out was like ambers are really good for unisex fragrances, right?
Absolutely.
Because like we all like amber, like how, you know, it's like so right down the line. At least the ones that I've kind of you know, have been drawn to, but. Anyway,
Bianchi's line. She has a lot of ambers.
She loves amber. Yeah.
Which one is
that? The dark side. I love this. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of
this
good
is my favorite. I have about 8 of her fragrances. This is my favorite. Oh my god.
What's that one like? Is it very animalic or what's?
No, not too bad. Because the one that was really animalic that I couldn't do was Lover's Tale.
Okay, I haven't tried that one.
It smells like a lover's tail.
I've heard about
it
that
smells like a lover's. Like the name is perfect. I was like, I totally get it, and yeah, you're gonna go back. I don't want.
Yes.
Yeah, I did not like that one. But yeah, this one is, incense, amber. It's a little sweet. So I do like the sweeter stuff. So this one is on the sweeter side compared to the other stuff that she
Dark
has.
side. I've heard good things
the
about dark side.
Beautiful.
I have her, what is it, Neroli? Sex and the Sea Neroli.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I haven't bonded with it yet, but I need to, but no, I've heard really good things about that one.
Yeah, really
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, amber's great. Exactly.
Amber, I have so many ambers. I love Amber Sultan. I like Amber Aurea. Amber Précieux, Métal Parfumé Gantier. I have all these different ambers. And then, of course, amber scents, which, I know that we're trying to move away from the nasty O word. So, I mean, those are based on an amber accord as well.
Oh, that's true. But
like opium. Oh my God, I don't even know why I don't have opium in Cinnabar sitting here.
Here's one that I have not been able to bond with. Okay, I'm struggling. Like, I love amber, but this is YSL opium.
That's the poopy one.
I don't know what it is.
That's the poopy one.
Little, and I wear some strong stuff, but this one, have you smelled this one?
Oh yeah, that's not the opium you want in your life. It's really? Sad. It's sad. It's sad. This is unfortunately one of those examples.
Reformulation, because my mom wore that during the winter. She wore that during the winter, and and it was a different bottle back then, and she wore white linen during the spring, summer, and those were like the first fragrances that kind of I love fragrance.
This is strong. I don't know.
That's so strange that it would come off as strong. It might be too strong for what it is, and it was a strong fragrance. But I think that there's something about the version and that showed up in that bottle that it just shifted everything into some sort of weird topsy-turvy thing that doesn't smell at all like the.
And here's the thing. So this to me is a very different amber than something like Amber Sultan or you know what I mean? This is I don't know what it is. It's I'm getting, and that's the thing, as you smell things more and more, you kind of get a little bit, you're more okay with it. But I haven't been up to wearing this one yet, but I have it out because I'm hoping to, I don't know.
It might work, right? It's
I think I need the vintage. Yeah, it sounds like I need the vintage of opium.
Give me 1 second to get the bottles so we can show them. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Do you know Bijan? Do you know Bijan?
I've heard of it. I've never tried it. Is it like this kind of?
No, it's the reason why I brought it up is because that's another one that's been reformulated because the original was absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. And then I bought a reformulated newer bottle. Yeah.
Not
and I was so I literally wanted to cry because it was this is not the Bijan I remember.
Yeah. That's such a bummer.
Are you talking about the Bijan, the original Bijan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh God, the Bijan reformulation.
Oh, it was.
Nothing.
I wanted to cry. I came close to crying because I associated that fragrance with a friend of mine. She rocked it, and oh my gosh, she always smelled so good. And I was just it was kind of nostalgic. And then I bought the reform, and I was like, oh my God, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Plasticky and
it's such a shame. It's such a shame.
The Bijan, both the original women's and men's smell entirely different from what they used to.
So
they just smell entirely different compositions altogether. Also, Laura Bijadi, they're not good at their reformulations. Roma, I got a newer bottle of Roma.
One from Anoush, but I think it's an original.
Oh, you got you got it from the good old days. You didn't get this frenetic mess that they put in bottles now. So this is
there you go. That's the bottle my mom has.
That's what I want. Look at that bottle's even really cool too.
Yeah.
I love old school bottles.
I think you'd appreciate opium in this form. It is one of those I'll tell you straight up, if it's something that you have to get in an older bottle. Well, you don't have to get anything. Let me preface with it. You don't have to get shit, but if you want to, if you want to experience opium as it was known, they formulated.
Sounds like I need the vintage one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anoush?
Find a
Anoush, do you
little
have
bottle.
any- Yeah, I'm gonna have to get one of those.
I know.
Sure.
What we got? It's like
I know, right?
I say he's like our people's dealer. It's like
It's so convenient.
Yeah.
I just hear in the chat. It's
vintage
like, do you
stuff.
have this? I'd like to buy it.
And then there's Estee Lauder's also ran, which I actually like a little bit more than Opium Cinnabar because it's a Bernard shot, and it has his signature base in it.
Yeah,
Like
Bernard
this-
Bart's shop was good. He's got some good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is actually he would actually I don't know about revisit or reconfigure this formula to create JHL, and that would be released 4 years later or so, 4 or 5 years later, and that'd be marketed to men, but that's unisex as well.
What's a JHL? I'm drawing a blank right now.
yeah, I know. That's what I was just gonna ask.
Aramis,
I'm like,
Aramis JHL. My ass is gonna have to get up again and show the bottle. Hold on.
oh, he loves it.
I know. It's like, oh, I'm like, what
And
is
JJ
this?
was saying, you know, he doesn't have all the bottles with him currently. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of bottles you're
Wow.
So that's JHL.
Oh, I-
That looks
okay.
familiar. The bottle looks familiar. Okay.
Yeah, this is actually part of the Gentleman's Collection version of the Aramis fragrances. So the bottles for Aramis 900, Devon, and this, and Tuscany Paromo, New West, Havana of Havana Sucks fame.
I know. I was really wondering, does Havana really suck? I got to know this.
I don't think it sucks. It's a Natalie Feustauer. It was one of her earlier compositions.
Yeah.
I like Natalie. I think it's really well done. It's just a matter of taste. It's not for him.
Yeah.
I like it.
But in general, JJ, are Aramis modern day forms okay to go with? Because it seems like people have seemed to be okay with Aramis modern day, and they're such good little buys. I don't know. What's the deal with Aramis?
Here's an example. Unlike YSL Opium, the Aramis fragrances have been reformulated really nicely. So I wouldn't discourage anyone from getting the Gentleman's Collection versions. I mean, there may be some marginal differences, but they're not enough to say like, well, I got to spend $100 more because it just lasts an hour longer. Like, or it smells like a little bit more mossy or anisic, like marginally. Like all of that is really overblown. Like it's like, come on, people. Like,
I know. Yeah.
I smell. A lot of it is exaggerated, but a lot of it is true. I do still think I need to do like some sort of video where I'm like, here are the ones where, sad to say,
that would be amazing.
Rest in peace. The bottles that exist today are absolute freaking zombies. Like they're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be helpful. I think you've done a couple of that, a couple of videos.
Yeah, the comparison.
I really appreciate those.
For sure. Yeah, for that.
I've been told to share my buy me a coffee link, but I don't know.
You had it earlier. I was like, okay, I'll press it later.
Yeah, and I'm also trying to catch up on all these chats here. I don't know how people do it.
I'm sure great discussions going on.
Yeah. People are like,
go ahead.
These people are boring, man. We're just talking amongst ourselves.
No, I think that's great because like that's what I did. I kind of grouped together like categories of or like notes that are very unisex to me, and like so one of them was amber. And I pulled out another one. I don't know if you guys are want to talk about other fragrances, but I pulled out iris because like to me when like when we did Iris Week, I was like, these are totally unisex. Yes. Mm-hmm. Like Iris is very unisex to me. So one that I pulled out, you guys, and I don't know if JJ's been able to smell this yet. I want to send you some, but is Papillon Hera.
Yeah. Ooh, sorry, that was a little hot. Yeah. I would love to try some more from that house, Papillon. I have tried Tobacco Rose, Anubis, and Spell 125, which was not pleasant to my nose. But I trust that Hera would be a little bit more my speed from what I've heard.
Well, here's what kind of pushed me over the edge when I was thinking about unisex fragrances. Ramsey, you guys all know, he's my crush. Just kidding. Everyone gives me
like those wholesome boys.
Everyone gives me so much crap.
He is nice to look at. He's really on the eyes, Margie. Hey.
Everyone gives me crap about Ramsey. But it's just so funny because he did, I swear, like, I don't know, like, I really like kind of, when he does his, fragrance, I won't fangirl. I've been told I'm a fangirl, so I'm just going to stop right now. He just did a perfume review on Papillon Hera. Okay. And here's why this kind of stood out to me when we were talking about unisex fragrances.
Right.
Because this perfume to me is like, it's definitely like a very, like, it's an iris. I would say iris fragrance. Like, that's really what it is. And it's very green and dry. There's nothing about this that's like feminine or masculine. It's like right down the middle. And I thought it was interesting because he compared this to, he said it has the same vibes as Dior Homme. And it's true because it's totally like, it's an iris, iris fragrance, but it's without the sweetness. So like Dior Homme to me smells very sweet. This is very much an iris fragrance without the sweetness. It's more green. It's more like, this is an extrait parfum, however you say.
Give me that Oris with the, like the Oris that's cold, cool, kind of steely blue, smells like a lot of freshly minted cash kind of Oris. I love
exactly. That's exactly what it's like. Yeah, no, you're right. That's exactly what it smells like. So yeah, it's just a excellent, he said it was like one of his best, or like the best Oris fragrance he's ever smelled. And I have to agree. It's amazing. And it's like right down the middle. Unisex. I mean, 100%. This is like the most unisex. And, this has also been compared to, have you guys tried Vol de Nuit?
Love Vol de Nuit.
And this is like, it's very similar to Vol de Nuit. It kind of has the same scent profile, but the Papillon Hera is so much more, concentrated and like
concentrated. Vol de Nuit is very ethereal. I love how ethereal Vol de Nuit is. I would love to have the Parfum version of Vol de Nuit, but Jesus,
I just want it for that
the prices on the parfums from Guerlain. It's like, really?
Beautiful. I know.
It's the same thing with Chanel. It's like, I don't know if I want to get the main reason why I want a bottle of the Vol de Nuit Parfum is because of the iconic bottle itself. Like, the Parfum is great too, but to have that beautiful bottle and have it displayed,
yeah. The bottle's what sends you over the edge. But I think, Jay, you have a very similar like idea about like how much you'll spend on a bottle. I'm the same way. I have limits. So I'm like, okay, that's just too much.
That would be a huge exception for me to get the Vol de Nuit Parfum. Dave mentioned loved Katie Puckrick's reviews, some of the best. I would love to have Katie Puckrick join me one day, and I have a huge crush on Katie Puckrick. I friended her on Facebook ages ago, and then we used to chat about fragrance. So maybe I should hit her up. I don't know if she wants to do the circuit.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be so awesome.
Yeah.
But I would love to have her as a guest or do something and get her out of fragrance. I mean, she was never really like fragcom. That was before That was before any of this. Get her out of retirement, and at least in terms of talking about fragrance.
Yeah. How long has she been away? Let's see, Katie.
I mean, she has her blog, but she updates it sporadically. So she doesn't do anything fragrance content oriented that frequently. It doesn't come all that often. Katie rocked. She presented well. Well, she had a history in television and performance. You know that she toured with the Pet Shop Boys as a dancer. She tried to start a career as like a like a pop starlet in the 80s. You know, she's had a storied past. She's wonderful. Oh,
That's a
Samsara.
good one, Mel. That's a good one. I was thinking about pulling that out today.
Traditionally, what, like feminine, supposedly leaning?
Yeah.
Totally. Guy could totally wear this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally wear this.
Samsara is 100% unisex. There is nothing that it leans too far
It's
one way or the other.
And by the way, you were talking about Ramses, and I got him confused with somebody else. I thought you were talking about Raffi.
Oh no!
That's what I was saying. Like Melissa, that's your style. Because I could see Margie, the wholesome guy, but I didn't know Mel if that was like, if that was your vibe, if that was your, if that was the kind of guy that you like. Ooh,
no. Do you ever watch Ramsey?
He's like, looked at me, kind of like, okay.
He started off very vintage.
He's a nice guy.
He has a ton of vintage fragrances, but he has he's got newer stuff too. But anyways, I'll stop because
I watch people. I watch him. He does a lot of lives. I love.
Yes,
lives.
He's starting to do more lives. I know, me too. We know this about each other. I'm like, hi, Mel.
Lives, you're addicts, okay?
So, I bet you all smell good, says Mr. Clean. And what are we smelling like right now?
I haven't even sprayed anything yet. I've been so busy today, but I will spray something now. Oh, go ahead, Mel. Let's see.
So it's by Tokyo Milk. So it's I don't know. Margot Elena is kind of like this big conglomerate company. It has different companies, and one of them is Tokyo Milk. And I've smelled several of their fragrances, and I find them all very unique. Yep. This one is called and I like the packaging. It's called Black Widow, and it starts off very green. It's actually has sage. What else does it have? It's on the back. Ylang-ylang and orange blossom. So it has the white floral, which I like, but that doesn't really come out in the beginning. It kind of like once it settles down, because it starts off very green. And then once it settles down, you get a little bit more of the orange blossom. Yeah. It's really, really interesting.
I tried that one. Where do they sell that at?
These are sold online.
Okay.
And how I found this one is because they have like a subscription box. And in the subscription box, which is like once every season, you get a fragrance. You get a full-size fragrance. So it's like worth $200, and I pay like $60 for the box. So yeah,
that's great.
And
that sounds good.
Yeah,
I had
separately, really nice Canadian Beauty Blog.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's spray this.
She'll be joining me in the near future.
Oh, that's awesome.
Later on, I will be going over our guests that we'll be having through January. And
wow. All lined up. Dang.
All lined up. That's how I roll. I was going to share what I'm wearing. This is Niki de Saint-Phal. And this is a fragrance from 1982. It is a floral chypre. It has carnation and artemisia, green notes. It's rosy, mossy, leathery, woody. Definitely unisex. Could even be considered a little bit more masculine these days. But I don't think you ladies have to worry about being too masculine. It's unisex enough. No. Bandit, on the other hand.
I want that bottle, JJ. I went on a hunt for that, and it's not easy.
It is
what, this one? Niki de Saint-Phal? Really?
It's a vintage, right?
Yeah, this is an older bottle.
I was like, I like the bottle. Isn't there like a snake on the cap or something?
There is. Let me show you what the cap is.
I do like a good bottle.
Yeah, check it. Now we have Anuj as a resource.
Yeah.
Oh, Anuj, you have this.
I don't know, but so it has the name. See the name on the top, and then we flip it over, and we see.
I know. I love it. See, isn't that cool? I know. I saw a fragrance reviewer. I don't remember who it was, but she was holding that bottle up. I'm like, so I went on a hunt, and I was like, darn, it was hard to find.
Yeah.
Next time.
It's kind of hard, but it's hard to find. But when it comes up, it isn't too expensive. That's the thing. Some things, even though they're scarce, when they do come up, they don't cost an arm and a leg.
You know what's so funny, JJ? You're so right. Like we always say, just be patient. Just be patient. Just be. You know, we say this, But you really don't know until you know, like you really just set those reminders, set those searches, and just let it go. And every now and then you'll get one that pops up, right?
Yeah.
I'm starting to see stuff pop up now. I'm like, ooh, I have to get that. But anyways, it's fun. It's a good hunt. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I just sprayed right now. And this is very good. This is a very unisex fragrance. And this is Serge Luton's Santal Majuscule. Have you smelled this, Melissa? Oh man, this is so good. And I do love
Serge. Sandalwoods I've smelled for sure. Yeah, beautiful.
And in general, I think Serge Luton's is pretty unisex, but also sandalwood kind of in general is very unisex to me. Like the more you get, you have it too?
I have Shergi.
Yeah, that's another good one. Yeah.
Great unisex fragrance because this is one I wanted to mention.
Hannah, the Amanita that I have it's an atomizer. But yeah, this is my favorite version of the bottle. Have you ever noticed the detail here? So speaking of Katie Puckridge, she discusses Amanita in one of her videos, and she discusses the rather lascivious
oh yeah,
goings about in
wow.
It's a little bit of amorous congress, I guess you could say. Oh, look at pretty lady. She looks naked. Boobies.
God,
so yeah, there's this going on here. Beautiful bottle. I love this fragrance though. Amanita is extraordinary.
JJ, how long have you been collecting? I've got it.
Jesus.
I just want to know how long is it going to take for me to track down that bottle.
Well,
great bottles.
I like to give advice. Don't do what I did. Don't do what I did. Be patient. Be patient and be savvy. Be savvy about it. And just don't spend more than. I mean, obviously, this goes without saying. Don't spend more than you can afford, and prioritize. Make a list and prioritize it. Because the list can get really big. If you see the list has gotten really big, cross some stuff off and just get the stuff that is most intriguing to you at the top and just focus on that. Because we know that this is a bottomless pit.
It's really.
There's no end in sight. Like you're going to always find there are more fragrance experience to have. So the key is to just narrow it down to what most resonates to you, what really speaks to you, and take whatever anybody else says with a grain of salt. Even the people you admire, even the people who you admire their opinion, go with your own instinct. Like if you feel if you get this feeling of doubt, like, do I want this fragrance because other people are convincing me that I want this fragrance, or do I want this fragrance because I would really like it?
Yeah.
Then your answer there. If you're doubting it, then chances are you shouldn't get it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But if you've smelled this, have you smelled it already?
I have not smelled that.
Okay. Yeah. Find an opportunity to smell it. And then that's why there needs to be a better network of people sharing samples and decants. I
agree, totally.
But there should be people who have the time to do the decants doing all the work.
I know.
That stuff is so time.
It takes time to do it. It's so true. Yeah, I'm trying to do more of that here and there. It's like, and then you just have to kind of commit to doing it. But it takes time to decant stuff.
Right. Oh, it's really time intensive. It's tedious. Yeah. I by Brian says, interesting case in point, and this is from an hour ago because I'm that far behind. That's a half hour ago. Interesting case in point is Flores number 89, the James Bond Ian Fleming frag released in 1951. That many guys today find to be too floral. I just wore that last night as my bedtime scent.
Oh, nice.
Very unisex. Take note, ladies, if you want to give it a try.
Neroli is one of those notes that can definitely be
totally right down the middle.
Yeah,
Neroli, another good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love Neroli.
Rachel loves Tokat. See how old these comments are? We were talking about Tokat 100 years ago, and here I am. I'm finally
So
If JJ taught a perfume college class, I would fill up quick. We would all attend. I would try to get some people on that panel, like, who blow me away. So I'm really flattered by that comment. A great unisex tuberose is tuberose from Headspace, a new house. It's tuberose, galbanum, and tobacco.
Wow.
You want to switch this up, ladies? Like, look, hi.
oh, hi.
I know. It's like,
Sorry if I scared you. Woo!
I know you ended up in the middle there. Like,
I feel like I need to scoot over. Okay, there we go.
Wait, can you shift that? Oh wait. Oh, look at that. You actually can grab the frame.
This is actually pretty cool because you can see the
like
bottle.
a sardine.
Headspace. See,
Nice.
Headspace scares me. That name scares me because I'm thinking Headspace. Is that like
Headspace.
that new, like, you know, because they're doing, right? Isn't that a thing where they're just like,
the right headspace.
no, like it's like
I know I'm not in the right headspace a lot of the time. So does
That's
that
for
fragrance
sure.
help me out with
I
that?
wake up in the wrong headspace. Just kidding.
I have trouble with fruits. I mean, fruits. Oops. Now I don't have trouble with fruity people.
Oh.
Fruity people make the world go round. Now I have trouble with fruit
That
mixed
makes
with
sense.
white florals, mainly the trifecta
Yeah.
of tuberose, orange blossom, and jasmine in the same fragrance, which just so happens to be like fleur d'oranger, which I absolutely love. But like we were talking about earlier, Mel, the spices. So the spices in the woods
Right.
make it a little bit more unisex.
Right.
Otherwise, it would be a big old lady and nothing but a lady.
This fragrance, if you guys want to push it and really see like how femme you can go, Serge Luton, Florida Orange.
I just
It's
said the
like-
fleur d'oranger.
No, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. It is like the
Yeah.
sexiest thing I've ever smelled on a man.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it smells
In
great
my
on a
whole
guy.
life.
That's
Because
what
it's like, yeah,
I would leave the house wearing that one.
it smells
Very
so
nice.
good on a man. Because it's, you said like JJ, it's the spices. So it's like that orange blossom, but then you have the cumin that kind of makes it like kind of spicy. Like, you know, this smells so good on a man.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Serge-
these are such old comments. People talk about ambers. I'm so sorry, folks. I'm sure there's a lot of. I'm going through the opium comments. This is like walking down memory lane. Bijan is a love. Anoush has vintage Bijan. Here you go, Mel. All right, I'm catching up now. I'm catching up.
Did you catch up?
I think so. It's 8:06, and I'm still at 7:44. How many guys rock Shalimar? Quite a few. Absolutely.
Yes, Shalimar, leather.
Oh yeah.
Palmer's another good one.
Bijan Man is an amber fougere. Okay, I hate Bijan Man, but haven't tried the vintage. Well, that is why. That's the reason why, because you're trying that jank, nasty, like clear yellow piece color. The one that the vintage is like a deep amber color, and the one that the
Right.
new one is like this lurid yellow color.
That's how that's how the women's version was. I was like, this doesn't even look the same. And then when I smelled it, I go, oh my God, this stinks. It was horrible. It smelled like plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is this weird plastic vibe in a lot of these reformulated fragrances. Like they're trying desperately to hold it together with whatever, I don't know. I don't even think it's so much like restrictions anymore. I think they're just being cheap and they
Cheap.
still want
I
to manage
agree.
to like
Yeah.
still sell. And I think it's a total bait and switch. It's like, here's your favorite.
Oh,
Just
some
kidding.
people like this fragrance. We'll just make it cheap and make it available. Yeah.
I think it's so
agree.
bad. It's so bad.
So true.
People talk about IFRA and all that stuff, and I tell them it's not IFRA. It's not even the European Union or whoever's in charge of like restricting stuff. It is just they want to keep this zombie alive.
Yeah.
It's a bait and switch. Grab the money. Here you go. Here's your delightful fragrance that you know and love, and then they're stuck with it. Because what are you going to do with it? You can't. It's not even like.
I know.
It's not even worth like reselling.
It's so true.
That's awful.
Yeah. That's a bummer. So
How about if I like Arrogance Pour Homme and Havana? How about that? Catch me outside. How about that? I like Arrogance Pour Homme as well. And hey, Rudy.
hi
Rudy.
Parfum Core Opium and an older built-in sprayer. The built-in sprayer is amazing and better. Hate to say it.
Rudy. Yeah.
Yep, the built-in sprayer was just after this one, and that one's good too. So you don't have to get this one, but if you get the one with the built-in sprayer that's similar, kind of column shaped.
Okay.
Yes.
Rachel's going to help me out. She said she volunteered to help me out. Get a good
Cool.
I'm like, please. Yeah. I love the bottomless pit of perfume. Louis loved Iris.
Oh wow.
Hermes Iris, the iris. It's beautiful. Gigi, I think you have that, right? Iris.
It leaves, yeah.
Wow.
That's
Iris.
Olivia Jacobetti, I think, did that one. I think it's Olivia Jacobetti who worked on that one.
It's a
beautiful stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think for men, exploring unisex stuff, or like wanting to open up a little bit more, or even women in general, I think, yeah, that's kind of what I figured out. It's like, there's certain like notes or like kind of like styles of fragrances that are a little bit easier to kind of go either way. Like I said, iris, I think, is a really good one. Like looking at iris fragrances, I feel like iris fragrances can be very unisex depending on the amount of like sweet, that they're adding to it. But like that Hera one, like I said, is very unisex. Amber fragrances. Amber, I feel like you can't go wrong, because I feel like you could even do like a super sweet amber fragrance. Like this one. Are you guys familiar with this house at all? This is Histoire Parfum.
Yeah.
I don't know why I love this house. I like their bottles and how they put on the. They're so cute. But yeah, this is Amber 114, and it's like, it's a pretty sweet amber, but it's good, and it's totally unisex, Like I think a man or woman can wear this. Amber does really well. Citruses, right? Like citrus kind of like summery fresh, type of stuff is fresh stuff.
Perfect. Yeah, like this one. Unfortunately it's discontinued, but this smells so good. And it's just citrus, almond, and it's simple, fresh, and
exactly.
It gives me kind of like a 7-Up vibe. I don't know what it is. I guess there's like a fizzy.
A lot of people talk about that line. I need to try those.
I kind of like fragrances that remind me of soda or cola. Like I like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Because truthfully, like if you think about it, the Coca-Cola recipe, I mean, it is a proprietary recipe. We don't know everything that goes into it, but like all the things that make Coca-Cola taste the way it does, like nutmeg, coriander, all these different spices, they're the same spice melange that you'd find in like an Oriental or an Amber. Yeah. So it's like when you think of like Taboo or like Youth Dew or something, you experience a little bit of that cola vibe.
Yeah.
So Rudy says, Eric gave me a sample of Patu Pour Homme, and it smells like tops $180 fragrance. People buying or selling it for $900 are on crack. I just don't care enough about Patu Pour Homme at this point. It's just like, how was it decided that particular fragrance is now worth that kind of money? Like,
yes,
just F off. Not you, Rudy, but F off to the people who think that that's how much it costs. It's just, it's the same thing. I mean, I like Darby a lot too from Guerlain, but no. Like, it's just not worth spending that kind of money.
There's a limit to my insanity.
Right. No, that is.
You have to. Yeah, you have to put a limit on it. Otherwise, you'll go broke or go crazy.
I know.
We're already a little off because we're
already.
Anybody who's collecting as many fragrances as any of us do. Never mind me. People who have half the amount as I do. The rest of the world's like, what the fuck is your problem? Why do you have all those fragrances? And I'm like next level. I'm like still getting stuff from like a storage unit because like at the other place I live, I couldn't even fit all of them.
Wow.
And I'm like, now I live in a place where they can all fit. So I'm like.
And somehow we rationalize this. And this is coming from a girl that like 2.5 years ago, I had one perfume. And I'm like, just one perfume. So it's interesting how we rationalize.
I would say before 2018, I would always have more than one, to be honest. It was always like
not
5.
I always did too. Yeah.
Somewhere between 5 and 10 usually. But 2018 hit, and I was just like, oh,
it's so
wait a minute. I want to smell this. I want to smell that. And I just kind of
Right,
I think
right.
it was lockdown that did it to me. Lockdown sent me over.
Oh, I have my
I'm like, I need to
collection.
smell everything.
There was a drastic increase in the amount of collecting since like March 2020. It's
Right.
finally kind of tapered off. Finally, after like
Right.
over 2 years, where I'm like, okay, I think
Right.
this dependency is kind of wearing off now. But yeah, floral notes, Lily. My collection is less than 60. Could still cull some. It feels very nice to not have a lot. Truthfully,
It's true.
That's beautiful.
and I say that as somebody, and I am very open about how many that I do have, and I don't recommend that people pursue, achieve having that many fragrances. It takes a certain kind of personality to even go there. And I know that I call it the 700 Club. Like, if you're part of the 700 Club, hit me up. Let's start a support group. We have over 700 bottles. We need a support group, okay?
Didn't
Because
that
that's
show
a
come
lot.
on right before the cartoons?
What's that? Yeah. It's like a public service and that, like, there's help out there. Call us. We can help.
1-800.
No, but I call it the 700 Club also because of
1-800,
that.
you broke.
Yeah.
Seriously.
100, like,
I'll speak for myself.
do you have credit card debt? How much credit card debt do you have? Let me know in the comments.
Let me know so I can find out.
So I can find out that I'm not the only freak.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I just like I don't ever wish for somebody to go out and have like a huge fragrance collection. It's like rationalizing it. Like, it's a museum. I'm a curator. I have enough fragrance for several lifetimes. So I commend anyone who feels comfortable having a smaller amount, but also I wouldn't make anybody feel bad for having a larger amount either. It's all a matter of what makes sense for you and whether or not it's healthy. And if it's not healthy, then
but have you guys collected anything before fragrances? Like, have you collected anything else? See, me too. So I think if you're like a collector type person, and I'm not saying I'm a collector type person, I'm an obsessive type person. So I will be like really into something and I have to get the best of it, right? And I'll be into it and then I'll kind of move on, to something else. But I think there is value in that because you kind of learn, like, it's going to be messy. It's not going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have bottles. You're like, I need to get rid of this. You know what I mean? So don't expect perfection, but that's why we call it a journey, because it is a journey. And you know what I mean? Everybody's journey is like very specific to them and like, you know what I mean? What they seek out and stuff. But I don't really, now I have probably more than I need, but I'm okay with that at this point. I boxed a ton away the other day, like quite a few bottles away, and I maybe we'll sell them or give them away. I told my family that they never have to buy another perfume bottle again.
I got you. I got your back.
I got you.
You need something, come by.
Right.
Exactly. So yeah, you just have to be okay with it.
Rudy does mention this. Why would they care to make a good reform when they aren't making money from it? That's a good point too. Unfortunately, these zombies are not really their cash cows anymore because so few people want to wear these older fragrances. And they haven't, maybe according to some bean counters in the background, are like these, just throw the some shit in a bottle and then they won't know the difference. But people do know the difference.
Yeah. Or they even keep them like behind the counter and they don't even tell you they have them. Only for those few people that come in and have to have that fragrance. You know what I mean?
That's what they're doing with my favorites here, Aromatics Elixir. You have to ask for it. They don't have it out. It's almost like they're embarrassed to have it sitting there. Like,
I know.
So strong.
I know. I just ordered that, JJ.
Do you like it, Margie? Do you like Elixir? Do you like Aromatic?
I totally forgot that, Mel, that you can't handle Aromatic Elixir.
Yeah.
I can appreciate it, but
it's one of those very obnoxious perfumes.
Half a spray.
Yeah. But you know what I do with those really obnoxious perfumes? If the price is right and if it's well respected enough and, you know, then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to get the bottle. It's cheap enough. I'm going to live with it and see if I can appreciate it for what it is. I think I will appreciate Aromatics Elixir. I do.
Ooh,
So not to mention Katie Puckrick again. Oh, you know what? I'll mention her again because I'm
no
so
one's
in love with her.
smelling me. It's okay, Melissa.
So Katie Puckrick in one of her videos, just a second, lady, Katie Puckrick, watch her. No, it's okay. Her video on Aromatics Elixir, she says that even when she would wear it, she wears it on the small of her back, and that's how it works. So it's true. It's a fragrance that you wear. You don't wear it all around your collar ties. You know, you don't smother yourself with it because it is a very pervasive fragrance. So you just go easy on the sprays and let it do its magic throughout the day. And I do that too. I don't want to fumigate, like walk into like a coffee shop.
Exactly.
You come
a big pig pen cloud of like, you know, it's like pig pen, it's like Aromatics Elixir cloud.
Birds are dive bombing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Best cola vibe scents.
Really strong.
Ooh,
I think I already mentioned a couple of really good cola vibe scents.
I saw one recently.
This kind of like gives me like a cola vibe scent. JHL, Cinnabar.
I got a sample of
Taboo
something
for sure.
from either Hills and Yara or Allie that smelled really Coca-Cola. Like, oh my gosh, what was it? Dang it. And it was so good.
I wonder what it was. It's so funny because my friend that comes on here sometimes, Kay, she did a whole video on cola type scents because she's like obsessed with cola.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Kay loves perfumes. I don't know if she's here tonight, but yeah, definitely Taboo's one of her favorites. I'm trying to think. I got the modern day.
That's another strong one. Holy crap.
Taboo?
Yeah.
Taboo.
Yeah. Taboo is the small of the back fragrance.
Maybe the vintage,
right
right?
under the shirt, not all around me, not around here.
You know what though? You're right. It's all about how much you spray on.
Yeah.
See, I haven't bonded with the modern day Taboo though yet. I need to work with this a little more, but
it's a decent formulation for a modern.
Yeah.
But the older bottles are even better. But it's not a bad. Like actually, it's not that bad. It's a pretty decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've smelled the newer one. I've never smelled the older one. Back in the day, that was like, I think maybe one of my aunts might have owned that.
The older one has like a lot more of a backbone to it in the dry down. It's like kind of like that furry animalic kind of labdanum thing, which I really love. Yeah. But there's like a lot of modern kind of interpretations of it these days where it's like, you know, if you don't want to, I mean, well, actually, like the vintages of Taboo are not expensive. It's not one of those like where you have to drop $100 to get like a.
Yeah, this is a vintage Taboo. I believe so because this is the newer one.
Ah, there you go. You got the Obelisk.
Remember?
I think I recommended you. You
recommended this one. So I got this one first, and I'm like, I don't like it, JJ, and so he sent me a link for this one, and this is a vintage one. It definitely smells better for sure.
Oh yeah, it is. It's
cheap. This was so cheap, yeah.
Yeah. I love the bottle. The bottle's nicer too.
It does smell good. The vintage one smells much. In my opinion, the vintage smells better than the modern formulation of Taboo for sure.
Yeah.
The violin bottle.
Yeah, there's a violin bottle too, one shaped like a violin.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Wow. I finally caught up to the chat. I am actually at. That is the most recent comment.
Did you see Rudy's comment about?
I did, and he's
see this at the end of the month.
He's a smart ass.
Happy Halloween.
I'm gonna kick his ass. Listen, let's see. Has he hosted a live stream yet?
Yeah, Rudy.
Freaking hard to keep up. I don't know how the hell Dan does it. Well, I mean, I'm finally caught up, people. So start talking. I'm waiting. Bring on the comments.
Give us questions.
You're ready. You with your finger, like I'm ready to highlight the next.
I'm ready to highlight the next one.
Yes. Definitely.
I'll highlight one before it. Here you go. Hi. Thanks for tuning in.
Hi, Prof. Melvin.
So this is the part of the stream where I just show bottles, marathon style. Like here's
Perfect.
a Dundee.
Oh, Bansi.
Oh, JJ, I need to come over.
I don't have that one. I have Fructar. But
Because there's not going to be enough time to talk about all these, so let's just cut the small talk, or look at or show the bottles.
Show it.
Cannabis shower.
Yep, I have that. That's an amazing cheapie, and it's good. The modern formulation's excellent.
And Paradox by Pierre Cardin.
Ooh, I have
Paradox.
Ooh.
Look at how he's like.
It reminds me of.
I know. I was like,
Right.
Sorry.
Well, it could just be me and the bottle. Paradox. Love the bottle. It reminds me of like
That
those
is
like
nice.
bullseyes that they show on TV before a channel would come on the air. You remember that?
that's
Is
right.
that a vintage or modern?
That's a vintage. I don't even think it's
Okay,
still in
okay.
production.
Gotcha. The cool
Um,
bottle.
Aubusson,
all
Histoire d'Amour.
Yeah. That
What
one's
the
very
hell?
albumic, right?
What
is.
is that?
Like, can we talk about this for a second? Like, what's going on top of this bottle?
Wow. I
You-
don't
you
know. Let's see it. Let's see it how it looks from the front. Like I'm trying to understand what they were trying to do there.
I think it's supposed to be a flower. a flower.
He's going on with that.
But this is a great one. This is Aubusson Histoire d'Amour. Definitely unisex, aldehydic, sheeper floral. Let's
Nice.
continue. I'm not going to say too much about each, but everybody, it's sort of like,
Is
just
that
showing them knowing.
I want
Oh,
to get.
knowing, yeah.
I
Mhm.
want to get that. I need to get that.
By Estee Lauder. You know how they would say that on the commercials? Knowing by Estee Lauder.
Perfume commercials were always like the weirdest, and I mean they still are. But why is it? What is that? What is it about perfume?
Well, you know what's interesting? They're always very like what is it? Like very sex driven, like right? Perfume
Yeah.
commercials are.
Was it Calvin Klein who started it? But I think it was around even before Calvin Klein.
I think so. But that's what it's always kind of been about, right? Like smell good to
Yeah.
other, like yeah.
But then you have the Chanel commercial. What was it? Egoist.
Oh, yes.
Egoist.
Yeah.
Egoist.
Like the cuckoo clock. Like a cuckoo clock.
Right. Totally like whoop whoop. This is Must de Cartier.
Oh, that's the Cartier. Yes, I've had the newer one.
I love the color.
Is that a vintage?
This is vintagey.
Okay.
It's from
Vintage.
like the 2000s.
Yeah, the newer bottles look different.
That's
I-
really good, JJ. You know what's
It's good enough to
funny?
drink.
I have the modern. I have a decant of modern. It's such an interesting perfume to me.
Hmm.
I feel like it's its own thing. Must de Cartier.
It
So-
is.
As
Right?
I don't think
It's
there's
like, I
I've
couldn't
never
really
smelled anything
classify
like
it.
it.
Right? I couldn't classify it as anything in particular. Like it smelled old school, but it wasn't a Chypre. It wasn't like how would you describe that one, JJ?
I'm just saying,
That
Yeah.
Must de Cartier. It really kind of like baffled me a little bit for some reason.
It is a green Chypre with a vanilla base.
Oh, maybe it's the vanilla.
Green and vanilla. And that's what I love about it, because vanilla,
Okay.
you have that contrast of the green galbanum, and then it's a vanillic ambery resinous base. And it like sort of like Obsession, the original Obsession, kind of falls into that same category. Another one for show and tell, similar category, very resinous.
Oh, that's good.
Kritzia, crazy, who I attribute to Dana for recommending this when she did a video with Sebastian.
Yeah.
Kritzia. I'm going to check with the comments here so that I don't get too far behind. Paradox is a perfect name for a unisex.
It is.
I want to know Mel's and Margie's favorite fall fragrance.
Okay, Mel, you go first. I need time.
I know. But I'm like,
Putting her on the spot.
favorite? I don't know.
Wow.
Favorite fall fragrance.
Ooh,
Favorite fall.
gosh, I have so many perfumes to pick from.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
In the meantime, while you ladies
Yeah, it's
think
like
of that,
I'm gonna take. What?
JG, can't you hype some Mila Shon Haute for Margie? I have a feeling she'd love it. I have a video on Mila Shon Haute Couture. So check that video out. That is definitely a wonderful unisex fragrance marketed.
I'm Googling it now.
I think I have a hard time, like, because I don't have seasons here. So even though I'll like talk about fall fragrances, I just wear whatever I want.
Right, because you don't really have like an.
I don't have the
Yeah.
I don't have the 4 seasons, but I'm just like, have you guys smelled Plum and Cognac? That's been like a good one for me.
What is that by?
Fall and wintry.
What is the name of that house? Scent of the Woods?
Yeah.
Scent of the Woods.
Yeah. I love it. It's beautiful. But it's,
Gerard, when are you going to hit Colonial Drug this week? And can I go with? Because rather than just tell you what you should grab,
right.
I can go with you, introduce you to the shopkeepers, and then, you know, I'll point out all the cool things that you should try out or get.
Yeah, forget you guys are in the same area. That's awesome.
That we are. Not all of us have the accent, though. I have like, there's tiny words that I say that might be more regional, but I don't have as much of an accent. But it's just, you know, it's just like any region. Not everybody's going to have like the accent from where they live.
Do you know who Centrifugal Force is?
He has amazing. He has like
a Boston accent.
He's got that Dorchester Southie accent. I can mock the accent, even though I don't really have it. I grew up with enough of it, but it doesn't really. It's not really natural enough for me to keep it's hard for me to do because I have to think about it. Yeah. But I've been around it so much that I could kind of turn it on. Have you guys heard the term genderful? And what do you think of it? Genderful?
Never.
Rachel, tell us what genderful is all about. I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, that's a new one for me too. Genderful.
Boys, okay, can we talk about the name of this brand? Can we? I do not like that.
I gotta look it up.
There is no. It is not
agree,
decent. Why is it called Boy Smells? It sounds.
They have it at Nordstrom. They've got it at Nordstrom, like a whole display of Boy Smells, and I was so like, I saw that and I was like, oh.
Oh, I like Boy Smells.
Right?
It's so
Shop Boy Smells. I never heard of it. I'm looking it up now.
Yeah,
like,
they have a whole thing.
Oh, it's Grace Jones.
Huh?
What?
Grace Jones? Oops, it was
Grace Jones associates herself with Boy Smells.
Oh,
wait. Oh, wait. Is she? Wait, what is that?
Oh my gosh, she hasn't changed. She looks the same.
No, she's like 80 and she looks like she's half her age. Crazy. She's amazing, and she still like hula hoops while singing and shit. When she took a big old dive in the fountain of youth, and she came out like eternity, like, you know.
They have a fragrance called Genderful.
Oh.
But Rachel said it's a term being used.
Oh, it means for all genders, inclusive.
Okay.
Yeah. Gender.
Oh, I guess it's more inclusive than even unisex, because unisex is maybe just refers to two genders or two. I have no idea. I can't keep track anymore. I just want to make sure I say the right thing and not offend anyone.
Right. I know.
I don't, you know, I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable or triggered or unhappy. I don't want to do that. So if it's all inclusive, hey, I ain't gonna argue it.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, me neither.
Louis, good night. I'm sorry that I'm only reading this now. Well, it was 3 minutes ago. Have a good night.
Yeah. Good night, Lou.
And I am finally catching up here. Thank you so much. And I'm going to return to the samples that I did at the beginning to see how they smell.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so the Stefan Humbert Lucas whatever generation, man, a knockoff name from Amouage. It sounds like an Amouage name. Oh, it smells heinous. No, I don't.
Is that the Stefan Luke? What is it? What's the brand again, JJ? Stefan
Humbert Lucas.
I've been hearing a lot about that house.
We're gonna finally look this up on Fragrantica. You know,
I think it's a good idea.
Invaluable resource that we have.
This brand, this house.
I like how Mel can tell. Like I'm just.
Going to our Fragrantica Bible.
Generation Man. It sounds like it could be like an ambalage.
It does, yeah. The name, you're right.
Yeah, Generation Man. Okay, Stéphane Humbert Lucas 777 or set if you're saying it in French for men. And of course, the main accord is oud because it's like still 2012, I guess. I'm like so tired of like,
you know what's funny?
I
went to Bloomingdale's the other day and the lady like sprayed on me, or she was trying to give me like some Paris Monte Carlo. No, not Paris Monte Carlo. It was some other house. Anyway, it was a very like fruity floral, right? And I'm like, no, I'm okay. I was looking at the ambalage at that point. I'm like, no, you know how it is when you go into a perfume store. I just go like,
no, thank you, I'm good.
Right? And I go, no, I'm okay. I don't like any of that sweet, like fruity stuff. And then she goes, oh, and she goes, you like stronger stuff? And I'm like, and she's like, oh, and then she immediately started like trying to sell me oud perfumes. So it's either like they have this thing in their head where like you either like light floral fruity or you like oud, and I'm like, no, it's not that simple. Like anyway, I just every time I go shopping for a perfume, it's just so enlightening. And
there's just so much more to the rainbow of fragrance. It's not just these shades of brown and beige and mahogany or whatever you want to call these. So I'm looking at it right now, and it's oud and fruity. That's why I don't like it. So blackcurrant, which I don't really pick up. Yuzu, which I didn't really notice a yuzu, and it's just all. I do notice it's like a hackneyed oud accord, like just very tired. I've smelled it way too many times. It's like an oud base from Firmenich or IFF or something that's been used in like 100 of these like aspirational prestige fragrances, and it's just in like this pretty bottle with like, it looks like a honeycomb butt plug. It's just
honeycomb butt plug. Hey, that's my new cereal. That's the cereal we're eating. Honeycomb.
It looks like a cross between an acorn, a butt plug, and a honeycomb, and it has hexagonal.
It does. Those bottles are so confusing. I keep looking at them like, are they good? I don't know. The bottle's confusing. Totally.
I'm not crazy about these types of brands. Like they don't impress me. They really just. They don't impress me. So,
but I heard that perfumer has like synesthesia, where he can like smell what he sees or something like that.
The actual gentleman who does these, that's what I heard. He's like totally like a Raja Dove. He has like somebody at like IFF or like, I don't know, Givaudan doing these for him. I don't buy that crap. All right, enough with that crap. We'll move on to the
We've established you do not like it.
I don't like it. This is a scrubber. I'm washing this hand thoroughly. After this live, this crap has got to get off my hands. It's just like the Ormond Jane from last week.
You didn't like that. I know.
Which one was that one?
Oh, good Lord.
But that was the regular type. Okay. That wasn't the
I love Osmanthus.
No, there are some great Ormond Janes, but that Ormond Jane is not a good one. I love Tolu. I have Tolu. Yeah. So the different company, Debak Makov, I continue to have trouble saying that name. It is barely there, which I guess that's what they say about the different company. It smells really impressive and really beautiful, and then how long have I been on here? Like an hour and a half, and it's barely there.
Now you smell me, now you don't.
Yeah. Which, if it was mind-blowing when it opened, I would have been like, I can forgive it if it's not too expensive. Because it's a transport of fragrance where we're taking on a journey. It's about the length of a movie. That's fine. Yep. But it wasn't even that. All right. So this one and the third one, Hiram Green Vivacious.
Oh.
It's a nice dry down. This is, I think, I have to look up this one to take. I have already had an idea what the other one's notes was, so I didn't even have to bother to look it up. But I have to remind myself what's going on with Hiram Green.
Is that the first Hiram Green you've smelled?
It is indeed. Okay.
That's interesting about that house.
I was right. There's a carnation note, and I smelled carnation absolute. There was like a whole slug of it in there. I definitely knew that there was carnation in it. And then it's like carnation absolute in the dry down, and maybe some auras to smooth it out. But interestingly enough, it claims to have a violet note, but I didn't really experience much violet, and I love violet. So
yeah,
my verdict between the three of these, none of them I'm interested in going full bottle, to be honest with you. If somebody would like a free sample of the Stefan Humbert Lucas bullshit, I can give that away. And the different company is just so promising when it opened. I love that shiso, but there's just nothing there.
Yeah.
An hour and a half later. And then the winner, I think, is the Hiram Green Vivacious. Because I love its usage of Carnation Absolute. It's a great carnation fragrance. So there you have it. That was the winner for tonight.
Awesome.
The few I smelled from Hiram Green have been really, really nice.
Yeah, and you can tell it's like mostly natural ingredients.
Yeah.
You can tell that. Like you could tell that it's mostly a natural perfume. And I'm not saying that as like sort of like a qualitative thing, like therefore it's better. It's just you can tell.
Smell it, right? Yeah,
right.
For sure. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to smell more of his stuff. I'm Googling him right now. I'm always on my phone, like looking this stuff up. Now, JJ, do you pick these samples like to be sent to you, or how do you end up with these?
So the Hiram Green was recommended to me because they were aware that I do like carnation fragrances. And if you recall, Mel, when like at the beginning when I first smelled it, I was like, I forgot what the notes were. And then it finally it dawned on me, like now I know why, because somebody recommended it to me for the carnation. And then the different company, because I was curious about their fragrances. I'll continue to get samples. Right. I mean, they're cheap or they're free, but that one is definitely a no-go. And then they just threw in this gentleman generation crap like as a freebie because I didn't realize during my purchase that I was actually eligible to get a couple extra samples. So they gifted me with that.
Yeah.
So more show and tell here. We have Azure. This is Azure from Estee Lauder. This is a newer bottle.
Oh,
that's a new bottle?
This is a newer bottle. Yep. You don't have to get the older bottle. The older bottle is really great, but this formulation is actually more unisex, I think. And I think that you ladies might enjoy it. Azure. It's another Bernard Chant, actually. It is like the woman's answer to I wouldn't even say Aramis, because Aramis was sort of like Cabochard reversed. It's sort of like a more floral Cabochard.
Interesting. I'm looking that up too. That looks. Bernard Chant made some really good perfumes. I'm finding. Right?
Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of my favorites. I can even. He's one of the few perfumers where I think I could name almost everything that he's created. For commercial release. So Aramis, Imprévu from Coty, Cabochard, Aromatics Elixir, Azure, Estee, Cinnabar, Alliage, JHL, Aramis 900, Devon. Those are most of them. That's how much of I appreciate production. Oh, wow. So we have Belle of Versailles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to include Belle of Versailles. And then...
Totally worn by Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Indeed. And then Michael Jackson actually released a fragrance with a holographic image, and it's the most terrifying fucking thing. And it smells kind of like Belle of Versailles. Oh, wow. It's kind of like, kind of like how Madonna released like Truth or Dare, and it smells just like
Fracas, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And I think it's one of the best celebrity fragrances I've ever smelled. But I'm like, it smells like Fracas.
Yeah, pretty much. And then we have La Nuit de Paco Rabanne EDP. Yes, that's
a cool bottle.
And then I don't know if Aram is still too.
I look at them too. I'm like, ooh, nice bottle.
Look at this is like
That's
my
part of the
shopping
fun.
list is just getting longer, JJ. The longer we
She's
I'm
writing
a
all
bad-
them down. She's like, hey.
I'm
I'm a
Googling
bad
all
influence. I'm a really bad influence. Your bottles are extra blinged out today. Rachel, I think it's because the Vaseline on the lens. I think I need to clean the lens on my laptop because look at that. With the light, the way it glistens.
Oh yeah,
like,
it's catching the light. I love that bottle though. Like I love funky, weird bottles.
And then we have Explosive from Eigner or Eigner.
Yeah.
Eigner, I think is actually pronounced. It's actually a German name. I always wanted to be a French name, but it's actually German. Eigner.
Oh.
Explosive. A wonderful floral chypre from the 80s. And it is explosive. Oh, God, I love it. There's a lot of geranium and rose in the heart.
See, I can't talk to you anymore, JJ. This is getting bad.
Should I stop? Should I keep going? Should I keep going? Because we have Ivoire de Balmain. Ivoire de Balmain is, ooh, gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. It has like that golden color. You know, it's the good shit. And then another Balmain, Jolie Madame. Jolie Madame is the violet leather. So two favorite accords. Yeah. And it's that kind of like that really aromatic kind of tobacco-y leather, what they call the quinoline, isobutyl quinoline leather, kind of like in the same vein as Bandit and Cabochard, but it has that violet in it too.
Yeah.
Blingy. Look at that.
You know what, JJ, what does violet do for you? Because I'm trying to still understand violet.
It rocks my world. That's what it does. Love it. I love violet. Violet to me it does something to my olfactory receptors. It just is so invigorating, but also soothing at the same time. Mm-hmm. A little bit of synesthesia, I guess you could say. Like I see like a lot of like cool but saturated hues. Like it reminds me of just nostalgia. There's something about violet to me that's very nostalgic. Have you ever had violet candy? Because actually, like, some people can't handle it because it's like it literally tastes like you're eating perfume or so. Yeah. But I love it. I have seriously. This is how crazy I am. I will have those Chowards violet mints, and I will eat one after another until it's just like my whole mouth is just like.
That was me as a kid. My aunt would get them for me. She's like, "Oh, you like these here?" Because my mom would never buy them, so my aunt would give them. I was like, "Ooh, fancy!"
Yeah, and then I wouldn't be able to taste anything else for 2 hours.
Exactly.
And there's an interesting chemistry behind that. So, what makes violet smell the way it does are things called ionones. So there's alpha ionone, beta ionone, dihydrobeta ionone, and what these do is they actually block your olfactory receptors after a while, so you can get anosmia from a lot of violet. So you have a very heavy violet fragrance, you will start to have a difficult time smelling anything else after a while, or it will just go away and you're like, oh no, there's no more violet fragrance. And then it comes back later. It's really wild how violet can do that. Yeah.
I want to explore violet more, like isolated. You know what I mean? I want to explore violet more.
Yeah, I did a whole violet week on Instagram a way back, and now that I'm on YouTube, I think I just want to do the violet, not violet, well but just do themed videos where it's like,
yes.
And I've given up on resisting top 10s and top 5s. I'm like, screw it. You know what? If it works for the algorithms, I'm just going to do top 10s. They're going to be called it's a top 10. Get over it.
You know we're going to watch it. All of us will watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a top 10. This is the top 10 violet fragrances.
And it's going to be different from everybody else's. If it's coming from you, it's going to be totally different from what other people have to the table. So yeah, it's going to be wonderful. So yeah, do your top 10s. What the hell? If you can't beat them.
Exactly.
Violet is different from violet leaf, and the leaf is more woody, green, and spicy. Hello, Eugene. So violet leaf is very different. Violet leaf does not have as much ionones, and violet leaf is still to this day something that can be obtained affordably enough. It's pretty expensive, but not nearly as expensive as Violet Absolute, which is near impossible to produce. People still use Violet Leaf Absolute in fragrance in small quantities, and I have some. And in its concentrated form, it has this very vegetal, spinachy, artichokey, kind of like greener than green kind of wetness to it. It's really this just a cool thing to smell. Like it would be too powerful to just put on your skin. But what they do is they dilute it and they use it in tiny amounts, and it has like it's a really high impact material. So it's kind of like oak moss. All you need to do is put a little bit in, and it just changes the whole feel of the composition.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is that Violet Leaf Absolute is like a really deep green. So anything that uses real Violet Leaf Absolute, barring anything else that would turn it into a different color, it can make a fragrance have a greenish hue to it, like a light green hue. Oh,
cool.
Yeah, yeah. So it would be interesting to consider maybe some fragrances that have a light green color. I don't know, maybe Hiram Green. Maybe
I was going to say he has a couple that are green, and now I'm wondering. Ooh,
maybe they use Violet Leaf Absolute in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how funny. Yeah.
I'm trying to see where they sell Hiram Green.
Lucky Scent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I showed all the bottles that are here. Oh, there's also Kalesh here.
Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorites, JJ. You pushed me over the edge getting that one, and I
did you get this bottle, this version?
I did not get that.
But that's
bottle.
Okay. Even if you did,
modern bottle, and
it's still great. Yeah.
Look at any of those Hermes bottles that you can buy today are amazing.
Yeah, because Hermes does take really good care of their reformulations. Even if you might find that it's like we were talking about earlier, like these people who obsess about getting an older formulation, and it's like, for what reason? So that like the dry down is like an hour or two longer, so that I don't know, so that you don't really have top notes anymore. That's a thing that I joke about. Oh, actually, I joke a lot about that with Rudy. These people are obsessed with vintage. Like, how are you guaranteeing you're getting vintage where those top notes are intact? Like, so often the top notes are really muted or just burnt, and you have like a really great, base, really great dry down. But you're not really experiencing a lot of these fragrances as they were intended. And one of my theories is for people who are really hooked on vintages is they like the way that fragrances smell when they mature and degrade. Like they don't. It's not even so much like.
So true.
Like it's not even so much like it's about how the formulation was superior, because a lot of the time is I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of fragrances like Opium where there has been significant changes, but I would say only 10%. I know this is kind of arbitrary percentage. This is not peer reviewed or anything, but I'd say like 1 out of 10 the formulation has worsened it. Like the rest, it's like, you don't have to get the old.
Yeah. Right. I know. I often wonder, like, how much better is my fragrance going to smell like years from now? Yeah. You hope that they get more condensed and rich and all those things. I'm hoping none of them turn.
Right.
Right.
Especially since we have enough.
Just keep them in a good place.
Lifetime.
Just keep them out of sunlight. If nothing else, just keep them out of sunlight, because that's the worst enemy is light. Which concentration of Kalesh do you enjoy more? I actually am partial to the eau de toilette, but there's the eau de parfum. There's the sweet parfum from the 90s. Yes. 24 Faubourg, or 24 Faubourg, is my favorite fragrance of all time. I love that one. Somebody had just mentioned, trying to keep up here. Oh, yes. So not that impressive, Alex, as far as, am I still there? Can you guys see me? I feel like I disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see you.
We see you.
Like on my side, my image disappeared. It just turned into a circle. Okay. So Alex says 24 Faubourg is not that impressive, though. And is that the newer formulation? I only have an older bottle. I happen to find an older bottle for.
Let's just put it this way. I would love to smell 24 Faubourg vintage. Because I have modern day and it's gorgeous and it's beautiful, but I think vintage, I would like to smell it because I have a feeling it's going to even be that much better.
Mm-hmm. This is a good point from Mr. H, and I love that snazzy low bit rate Hawaiian shirt. Love that. My hobby horse about top 10s, it's not about the number, it's that we want quick vibe reviews of various frags, because a 60 or 90-second review of a frag will tell us to know if we'd be interested. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I'm still sort of experimenting with my approach for my videos, but I think that that's something that I want to explore. You know, see if, you know, just getting together a certain genre, a certain note, a theme, and then just do a blurb on each of my favorites from it. Yeah. And let's see. I want a Ramsey and JJ debate with RXL as the moderator. Like, that sounds like a fever dream.
Fever dream.
Yeah. That just sums up the misfortune I've had in FragCon. We'll just leave it at that. No. I hope that Ramsey is not too offended by my opinion. I was just a guy with an opinion, and I hope he takes it with stride. So, in RXL, I have no comment. I wasn't impressed by the reformulation. Too thin, strange, because Elena is a master. Yeah. I haven't, honestly, I haven't touched the newer version.
The newer Kalesh?
Yeah, the newer version of 24 Faber.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Well, there's only one way to know, and that is comparing current versus vintage formulas, and I find that very interesting and fun. I think that was from something I said earlier. Yeah. I mean, if the comparison's available to me, if somebody wanted to send me a newer 24 Faber so I can compare, I'm not buying one. I already have a bottle.
JJ,
Not doing that. I already been there and done that just to do comparison videos. I'm not doing any more of them.
Rachel's going to send me a little decant of 24 Faubourg vintage, she said.
So
nice. Then maybe I can compare them. That would be fun.
Eau de Suisse. Okay. Nice. Eugene is a big fan of 24 Faubourg. I completely agree with this. The JCE reformulation is not good. The original cell fragrance is my favorite.
I've only smelled the newer one, and it was okay. I was like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I had good luck in getting good vintage formulas that I have to say I love much more than the current ones. I believe you 100%. There's just some where I compared the vintage to the modern, and I realized I didn't need the vintage to begin with, but I held on to it anyways. Because I just am a nut. Margie, I'm going to send you the vintage, so you're just referring to it. Okay.
Thank you.
Yay! Oh, there you are. Double Margie. Thank you so much for tuning in, Dave B. Okay, so what is our conclusion on gender and fragrance?
Wear what you want.
Wear what you want.
Wear what makes you happy.
Seriously, like,
life is too short.
Life is too short,
So true.
Experience things. Don't be afraid to experience things. Get out of your comfort zone. Because you're wearing a fragrance that's marketed to women, it doesn't mean you're dressing in drag. You're not a transvestite. But even if you were a transvestite, that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not here to tell you how to enjoy your life. That's great. And it doesn't say anything about who you are, because it's just fragrance. It's scent. Scent has no gender to it. Yeah. They're all cultural constructs, all social constructs that have changed throughout time and vary from one corner of the globe to the other.
Yeah. So
if you're not comfortable, that's fine. I'm not going to disown you for that. You're just not ready for it, or you may not ever be ready for it. You may not feel like you ever need to. That's fine. But for those who have considered it, I feel like this is like the end of like a Jerry Springer episode. Like, this is my my monologue. But for those who've considered it, but they're kind of on the fence, like start off with something like a really masculine one, like Bandit or Cabochard, or Paloma Picasso. And then over time, when you get more comfortable with the idea of wearing women's fragrances that are marketed to women, you won't be afraid that you're getting more womanly because you wear a fragrance called femme or diva. And then eventually, maybe you have a better relationship with fragrance so that you don't care if it smells feminine. You still wear it anyways because you love fragrance.
Right.
And that's what it's all about. It's
Yes.
it's about the experience. So
Very true. Yeah. And I think there will still be some stuff that's maybe a little too masculine for you. Like for me, like Heritage. Like I love the way Heritage smells, but I'm not going to spray it on and go to the market. I just won't, because to me it's a little too masculine. I love it at home. I like to experience it. But yeah, I necessarily, so there will still be some things that maybe go too femme or too masculine, and that's okay. But it is nice when you find something that's kind of right down the middle. You know what I mean? That you can recommend to men or women.
Right.
It is nice to find those.
Yeah, it goes the other way around. Like I felt like I had to send this message more to the gentlemen. Like Mel was saying, like, or both of you were saying, like, men have a little bit more of a difficult time with this, but just assuring them that it's okay. But it's the same for a woman too. You know, there's going to be some things where you will appreciate the scent so much, and it just gives you good feelings, good vibes, good energy, whatever. But you don't necessarily feel compelled to wear it out, and it doesn't mean it's a waste of fragrance, you know?
Exactly.
So I'm not a transvestite or a crook. I am assuming that that is a quote from a film, a movie, a TV show. Oh, that's out of context. Yes, I have issues. Box design. Oh yeah, sometimes box designs drive me nuts when they're like really, really cheap ones, really ones, garish ones, like, or all that packaging. That's another gripe that I have with like niche brands, like it's like a Russian dolls. It's like you open a box. Oh wow, another really cool box. Oh, open this up. Oh, God.
Right.
Wow. You open another one. Oh, cool. It's like a little coffret. Okay, let me open this coffret. Oh, velvet. Yeah. It's wasteful. It's so freaking wasteful. You know what I love about one really high-end brand, Les Indomptables? One thing I love is that it's just a cardboard box. One thing I'm not so crazy about is they're using they're using like foam, like you can't, but they just put it in like a cardboard box, and that's really all you need.
Exactly.
Chanel, I know. Like that. Chanel's like come in just a regular, like pull it out, and it's a little box. That's it. Very simple. And it's like, oh, I just spent $200. Okay, well, you know what? They're not being wasteful.
Yeah.
You know, it's like.
Totally. Thank you so much, Ashley. I appreciate that. We're going to be wrapping up pretty soon. And Eugene, I gladly take Montgalant, Gabrielle, and Twilio Bleu, L'Homme Ideal, and H24.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I can't disagree with that. I haven't tried H24. I haven't tried the Eau de Parfum version. I only tried the Eau de Toilette.
I want to try that. I want to get out and smell some. There seems like there's like been a few new releases that I want to go sniff. So that's what I like.
The Eau de Toilette.
The H24 Eau de Toilette?
I didn't,
you know, I didn't mind it either. I thought it was
like, this is nice.
Yeah, it smells clean. And
I mean, compared to the tripe that comes out, right, like friggin' Paco Rabanne and the robot. It's like Hermes wasn't completely off the mark.
No.
I think it was a step in the right direction to explore some green floral notes in men's perfume today.
Yeah.
It's a sign of things going in a different direction finally. So I didn't even think I liked the EDT. I liked that it was like their mainstream offering, and Christine Nagel, I think, did a really great job. Some people have a bone to pick because she took over for Jean-Claude Elena, but I think she really is following in his footsteps.
And you know what? Twilly is a good perfume, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It leans a little sweet for me, and I have a decant, and like I'm kind of on the fence of buying a bottle. It's a little sweet, but it is a good perfume. So,
Hello, Rose. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the Phantom Robot, and then there's the woman's version too, and she has kind of like a go-go dress. Kind of. Yeah.
Fame. I haven't smelled either one, but yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't tried that.
The name is Fame,
Yeah.
which is like the Lady Gaga fragrance. It's called Fame too.
Right. I already thought that there was a Fame fragrance from Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
It all reminds me of like that movie, all like Batteries Not Included. Like it's like that's what it reminds me of. I just picture like that Jessica Tandy character picking up the old couple, like picking them up, like these aren't these dogs. I'm gonna call them Flotsam and Jetsam.
That is going back.
God. And then Moncler with the friggin' ticker tape, like the light up thing on the bottles. Have you seen those?
Yes, I've seen.
It's like LED ticker.
Yeah.
Tacky. It's like friggin' tacky, man. Moncler. I mean, Moncler, I don't know. Maybe they're kind of tacky as a brand anyway. I mean, the jackets are expensive as all outdoors, but I think we'll stay on for a few more minutes. We run usually about 15 minutes over. I'm more about being punctual at 7 p.m. I'm on the dot.
I noticed, AJ. You're right on time.
Punctuality. But there's no hard ending. There's no like, the time is now 9 p.m. Thank you for tuning in this evening.
Look, it's only 6 here. It's still light.
Oh, that's right. The time is now 9 p.m. where I am. I have to get used to that. Like, I'm dealing with all these different time zones. We have people from Australia watching in the morning here.
It gets very confusing. Yeah.
Nice to see you too, Manginosis. YouTube. I think YT stands for YouTube. Manginosis.
I always struggle with his name, but it's cool. My phone like remembers his name now, so when I chat with him, it just like types it in. It like fills it in for me. I'm like, good. When we chat,
mine does too. How funny.
Does it? What
AI friends are gonna take over.
I'm sniffing Coco Noire. I'm saying, I think I must try spraying this on my husband and see what it smells like on him.
Should.
And not say anything to him.
Don't show him the bottle. Don't tell him anything. Just spray it. Say like,
spray it.
I have this new men's fragrance. Give it a shot. Give it a whirl.
I really think it would smell good on him.
And then you show the bottle like, surprise, you're a lady now.
I love rose fragrances on men. I love rose. That's a rose. Does that one have rose in it?
Yeah. Rose patchouli, spices. It has
I love rose fragrances on men.
Now that's a note that I feel is not necessarily specific to gender either. It's just all in how it falls into a composition. Like it's not inherently male or female. Because there's so many men's fragrances that showcase rose, and women's fragrances. I love rose. I just love rose, and I love its cousin. I guess you could say botanically geranium, which actually comes from the leaves. I don't know if you knew this. Fun fact.
I didn't know that.
The essential oil. Pelargonium graveolens, which is the type of geranium, which this is even more confusing. We're going to get into some botany now. I know this is riveting stuff, but it isn't even a true geranium. It is the Pelargonium family. They call it a rose geranium, though. So the geraniums that you would have like on your porch, like those are not scent. The leaves don't really have a scent. So this whole family of Pelargonium, they have scented leaves, and the rose geranium has really strongly scented leaves and a lot of essential oil yield. So this is where we get the geranium note and fragrances. So where was I going with that? Oh, they don't come from the flowers. They don't come from the flowers. They come from the leaves. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if you smell the flowers, they don't really have much of a scent to them. But if you take the leaves, they're so rich in essential oil. They're kind of like herbs. You know,
Right.
herbs, you crush the leaves and
You
all
press
the oil.
them, right.
Yeah.
Press
Yeah,
them.
I love
Wow,
geranium
nice.
too. I have a few geranium fragrances that I adore. Equipage geranium, geranium odorata from Diptyque. What's the other geranium one that I have? There's one Jardin de Nille. It's from Maître Parfumeur Gantier, and there's a few others. But I love geranium. Geranium's kind of like when you add it to rose, I think it makes it a little bit more unisex, more masculine. And then you have like geranium that's often in fougères too. It's that rosiness to fougère without it being like a full-fledged rose.
How about carnation? Do they extract from the flower carnation?
It's true.
Like a peppery thing to carnation.
There is like a peppery, clovey. It's very spicy. So what's interesting about a carnation accord, just from me talking a lot, carnation absolute. If you smell carnation absolute like I did in that Hiram green, it doesn't really smell like the flowers because it is the solvent extracted absolute from the flowers. So the headspace isn't really there. It's just all the oils from the flower. So it's only like one facet of what a carnation smells like. So in order to make it really smell like a carnation, often with a carnation accord, they either use carnation absolute or they forego it altogether and use something else to replace it. But if they do use the carnation absolute, they'll build upon it using different materials, like different florals, like they'll use ylang ylang to kind of add some of the top notes of a carnation, all these other things. Like there's different types of bases that are used. There's something called methyl dilantis, and it's actually what is used these days to create a carnation accord because there are restrictions. I don't know if you know where I'm going with it. Restrictions with clove materials like eugenol, etc. So, a big part of it is those eugenol and eugenol, derivatives and stuff, and they've really restricted those in the past few years. So you're seeing a lot of these like clovey and carnation scents change. Sometimes they're successful, and other times it's like, oh no, it doesn't really smell quite the same anymore.
Yeah.
Have you girls smelled this uncut gem?
I want to smell it.
This is the newest with Frederick Malle, right?
Everyone's
No way. I just listened to myself like ask that question, and it just sounds so bad. Have you smelled? I'm
like, wasn't that a movie with
JJ a long time ago?
Uncut Gem. Wasn't that a movie with Adam Sandler?
Was it?
Gem? Is that?
You know what? I think it was.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Yeah,
it was actually okay. It was a pretty good movie.
Yeah,
holy crap! It is Uncut Gems, a 2019 crime thriller film with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, he actually acted really well in that movie. Now that I'm starting to think about it.
He does his thing. He's an odd character, but yeah, the stuff he's in is pretty good.
So I sampled Uncut Gem, and it is horrid in the dry down. It is an amalgamation of all of the headache-inducing woody ambers and ambergris facsimile molecules all rolled up in one when it dries down. Hideous. It just it horrifies me, and it just makes me disillusioned about Frederick Malle as a whole.
Wow.
It's just
Rudy reviewed it, but I haven't seen his video yet.
I'd like
it looks like Pep has a new video up on it. Pep's the Sentinel.
Really? He has a video? I'm
pretty sure I just saw something pop up. Let me see.
I'm sure he got a sample. He wouldn't have bought that thing full bottle. The only one who would have done that was Sebastian. And,
exactly.
And he gave a scathing review on it.
He did, right? I started to watch it, but I didn't finish it.
Yeah.
How disappointing that it's all aroma chems. Like you said, like what, woody amber kind of.
Yeah, it's just, a lot of these pinchy, scratchy, woody ambery, ambrosinide, a lot of ambrosinide. I like ambrosinide when it's like lightly dosed. When it's highly dosed, it's just it hits like a nerve in my head. I can't deal with it. And it's such a disappointing follow up to what I thought was a really exquisite release with Synthetic Jungle. I thought was really well done.
I think so
I really,
too.
I love green scents, so I thought it was very well executed. So yeah.
I don't know. Some of these new aroma chems, it's almost like they just put them out there to like, because if you're smelling something different, the average person is going to go, oh, what is that? That's unusual. You know what I mean? And maybe buy it because they like it. You know what I mean? Like, I have to say, like, what is that one perfume, Santal 33? When as a non-perfume head, when I smelled that before I was into perfumes, I was like, oh, that's really unusual. What is that? You know what I mean? It kind of like piqued my interest, but now that I know what it is and I smell it now, I'm kind of like, ooh,
it's so like,
right?
Like it.
But like, I think
so
if you don't know,
it's really abrasive.
I'm like, oh,
it's horrible. It really is. It's horrible. But like, people are paying upwards of $300 a bottle, and there's people that still swear by it. Like that's the best thing. You know what I mean? It's like they don't know. Just kidding.
The only one that I've liked from Le Labo
that sounds horrible.
Rose 31. That's the only one, and it was just it was okay, but it was the rest that I've smelled. I was just kind of like, whatever. What's the deal with this house that everybody raves about them? I'm like, whatever.
I think my biggest issue with Le Labo is just the price point for what they're offering.
What they offer, that's what it is. It doesn't. It's like
absolutely the price. A joke.
I mean, people could say the same about Frederic Malle, but I think historically Frederic Malle has had some really ingenious compositions and really great perfumers. But also even Le Labo has had great perfumers. But I feel like they give them like they're sort of like they're hand-me-downs or something like they didn't want it at Frederic Malle. Here, you can have it, Le Labo. You're welcome, and you can charge the same amount of money too. Thanks. Just drop the check in the mail. Another 13 is actually really popular. I didn't really particularly like it, but I didn't dislike it. I'm not really a fan of the Santal. There's a few that just were kind of like nothing burgers to me. They're just like whatever. It's overrated. I did like Rose 31, and I did like it was a little bit of a dirty rose, but not as dirty as I actually hoped it would be. Long one I really like, but just not enough to spend that kind of money. So yeah, it's just one of those houses. I don't have any full bottles. Here I go, drifting away. That's just I'm in my rolling chair here. Funnily enough, Santal 33 and Poppiness of Uncut Chum to Le Labo.
Patchouli Poppy.
I like that name, Patchouli Poppy. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in.
Patchouli Poppy.
I have a feeling the sales of Synthetic Jungle did not meet expectations. That's probably it. So let's just get that beast mode, uncut gem. Get all those bros spending $400.
Expensive. I mean, it's expensive, Frederic Malle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so it's got to kind of blow you away. I haven't bought a full bottle of Frederic Malle. Yeah,
I have
I don't
4 10 mils. I bought the little 10, and even those 10 mils are expensive.
Those are like the 10 mils, like $55. I have 1 10 mil, and it's the Lodiver by Jean-Claude Elena.
Lodiver is beautiful.
It's so beautiful, but JJ, like that's the kind of scent where you spray it on, and it's it's beautiful and magical, like for a second, and then it kind of like it's very soft wearing, so it kind of like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it's one of those where I could justify getting a 10 mil at 50, but I don't know. I just haven't really.
I got all my Frederic Malles discounted. I did not spend any of them. Spend it at retail. Are you freaking kidding me?
I wouldn't mind Portrait of a Lady. Which Frederic Malles do you have, JJ? Do you have?
Scoured the internet to find the cheapest ones. I threw caution to the wind. I'm like, I doubt there's actually counterfeits. I'm gonna just risk it, and every one of them is legit. I have let's see, what do I have? L'Eau d'Hiver, Dans tes bras, Une fleur de cassis, I'm trying to remember.
I think I would like that one.
Geranium pour Monsieur. And Parfum de Thérèse and Noir Épice. I have all the ones that are not hyped. I have like all the early ones.
I think I have the more hyped one, Lipstick Rose, but mine again are the 10 mil.
Yeah, I have all the ones that. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of exposure for them. A lot of people talking about them. So
you know what's very stressful about those 10 mil? So you buy a Frederick Malle 10 mil at $55, right? And then if you have to buy the little case, I know I didn't either. But can you imagine if you dropped that little 10 mil?
I know.
And for some reason, I always drop 10 mils. Like it's always the little 10 mils that like roll off my desk and fall into my floor. So I'm like, I need to get the little case for the Frederick Malle 10 mil. Anyways,
have I smelled the original release of Une Fleur de Cassis? As a matter of fact, I did, and it's mind blowing, and I just resigned myself to never having a full bottle of that, and that's fine because the bottle that I have is still pretty fucking amazing. Like, but so yeah, I have smelled the one from ages ago. In fact, I remember smelling it when I went into Barney's back in 2007, 2008 probably, because I finally, and I was kind of a little bit, I didn't take risks then. I was like, I don't know if I can wear this because I was like 30.
I was 30.
I know. No, I was younger, and I was like I felt a little self-conscious. Like, could I pull this off? Is it worth buying this? Could I wear this? Because I was out and single, and
yeah.
So I thought it was really just mind blowing, but I just didn't think I could pull it off. So I ended up buying like Vetiver Extraordinaire and what was called Bois d'Orage at the time, which is now called French Lover, which are both bottles are long gone because it's funny because like these fragrances that were like signatures of mine when I had far fewer, I don't really feel the need to revisit them now. It's like I got all my jollies out of them, wearing them so often that I don't really need to revisit them. But I do remember smelling Une Fleur de Cassis ages ago, and I do remember it smelled a bit different. But I do have the glossy capped, not the matte cap version of Une Fleur de Cassis, and it still has a huge amount of Cassis Absolute. Still smells gorgeous to me. So there's your answer to that. I don't plan on spending the money to drop money on matte capped Frederick Malles, and I just don't have that kind of money. They never come up anyways.
Let me imagine how much they would
yeah, because they used to be matte. Like the caps were like matte instead of glossy, and people are like, get the matte cap. That's when they were good.
Really? Were they that much better? Did you?
It depends on the fragrance.
Okay.
It depends. Yeah. I don't even like to get into those discussions because it's like it's like why even
chase after something that's kind of like
that's so inaccessible. If people think these are so freaking amazing, how about you just like be generous and share it with the rest of your friends? Like, this is the better one. Here's a little sample of it for you and for you too. Yeah. I'm just fine with the newer versions.
I agree. We need to share more of our perfume because we have way too much perfume anyone could wear in their whole lifetime. I
like how Eugene follows up with it's pure scat. So I don't remember it smelling like straight up shit, but it did have kind of like it was really animalic. It was really, really challenging, and it was fascinating to me, and I thought it was really beautiful. Just how out of left field, like that I've never smelled such animalic florals before at the time. But it's still animalic. It still has like this kind of furry, fuzzy, kind of sweaty aspect to it that I like. So
okay, JJ. I know Lodever. I mean, I'm looking at Frederick Malle on discounters, and if you can get it at a good price, which they're all over discounters, Frederick Malle is, right? Yeah. So if you can get it at a discounter, it's totally worth it because the quality is insane, Anyways, we'll see about that. But hey, JJ, I have a question for you. Can you tell me why I need Serge Lutens? Do you know which one I'm going to ask about?
should I guess? Why you need? All right, so I know
may
you already have.
It may have come up a couple times, so it's on my radar. It's very, very
Really?
expensive.
Oh, it's very expensive.
It's very, and you got
Bell jar?
Bell jar.
La Mer, Saracen, Iris Silver Mist,
Saracen.
Saracen.
Saracen. Saracen. Saracen.
Saracen. It's I'm not always perfect with the French pronunciation, so don't pay attention to me. Most of the time I'm on point, but for that one I always forget what the INS. I think it's Saracen. Sample it. See if you can sample it. It's expensive.
But I might want to just go for it. Tell me why I need it. I'm just kidding. I need you to sell me on it. Oh my God. Here's the thing. I love Surgitons. Okay, I have like a ton of these little bottles. I want him to sell me. I have a lot of these size Surge, but like I keep hearing great things about Saracens or whatever. I can't say it. And I know it's jasmine. I love jasmine. I know it's got a lot of carnation, right? I love carnation, but I'm hearing great things about it. But it's one of the bell jars. Like, how do you deal with that bell jar? Like,
how do you deal with it?
Yeah. Are you decanting it or what are you doing?
I just dab it. For now, I've been dabbing.
You're dabbing it? Okay.
Because the scents are just so transportive to me. They're just so, like, it's just like an event for me to wear them. It's not just like, just spray and go. They're like really otherworldly to me. Like these fragrances, like they just feel like they just, you want to be present with them. So I don't have any problem just taking it and just dabbing it. And just taking it in,
I feel like Serge does jasmine so well. Like he has some really good jasmine like that. I don't know if it's the house or the perfumer or what, but
yeah.
Is that a sheldrake? Is that
Saracen is a sheldrake. Iris Silver Mist is a Maurice Roussel, one of the few Maurice Roussels that is in Serge Lutens. But you could decant it. You could, if you prefer to spray, of course.
Yeah.
And the bottle and the stopper does kind of it gets pretty tight, so you don't have to worry about evaporation. Do you want me to show you the bottle? Do you want to,
I would love it if you have it.
All right, I'll do that.
This is like.
Listen, this might be the next.
I was gonna say the P word, but I'm not gonna say the P word.
What's that?
I'll call it fragrance corn. CORN.
All right, I always freak.
It is.
So I always freak people out with this. Look, I'm holding it by there. Holding it by there. Yep. So that's how tight they are. This is just to demonstrate. So they close very tightly.
Wow. Look at that juice color. Wow.
Yeah. So it's a very deep purple color. Yeah.
Okay.
That looks like Coca-Cola.
Yeah, this is actually like a very deep violet.
What size is that, JJ? Is that a
150
50 mil, 75 mil? It looks like
milliliter.
Yeah.
Yep, 75 milliliter. I don't know how easy it is for you to get a sample, but I'm telling you, I really don't want to advocate for blind buying because I've done so much of it myself, and it's really an investment. I obviously love Saracen. It's my favorite jasmine fragrance. And it's a really good one, but I would say try to see. There are different places where you can get samples. Don't they have like the perfume?
Yeah,
store?
I'll find something. I'll find something.
Sample it first. I have a feeling you'd really like it.
I'm sure.
Sample it first because these are an investment. They're expensive, I don't know if Serge Lutens even has like the smaller. They used to have like smaller vials that you could purchase of fragrances in the bell jars. I know, and they've exited the market, so the only way you can purchase Serge Lutens purchase on their website.
But why is it that we can still get these on fragrance discounters? Isn't that interesting? Because like we can get these pretty readily still, but then the bell jars you can only get from their website. It's just so weird.
Bell jars never make it to the discounters, and Serge Lutens make sure. I don't. That's their premium line. That's like They just, yeah. Logistically, that sounds like a potential nightmare too, considering like very well constructed bottles get leaked from like fragrance net and crap. Imagine if they were trying to sell bell jars. They come
my
like shattered.
It would be a
From
mess.
fragrance net.
Half empty. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So yeah, and you can still get those other bottles because it's just stock. It's overstock. You know, the reason why they end up at Fragrance Net is because, you know, that there's overstock.
Yeah.
And that's why you can get them for cheaper as well. So, and that's the same reason why you can go to TJ Maxx sometimes. Like, it was crazy. I think it was like last December or January. All of a sudden, like, all these Serge Lutens fragrances were showing up at like TJ Maxx, like in like the New York metropolitan area or something. It was weird. It only lasted for like a month or so.
Wow.
Okay.
Imagine it's people that don't even know what it is. They're just like, yeah.
I'm so glad that I can't sell her on De Profundis because it tells me that I'm a good boy and I have not made an impulse purchase for it because I've always been fascinated with it.
Me too.
And I've never gotten a sample of it. The idea that it is this almost, you know, morose funereal chrysanthemum. I almost said it like with a list. Chrysanthemum. It's chrysanthemum fragrance. It just sounds really intriguing to me.
Yeah.
I'd love to get a sample of that, but that's not one that I would blind buy.
I think I see that show up on. I think I saw it show up on a discounter in that tall black bottle that they've got.
Oh, De Profundis and in one of the.
I feel like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe not. I don't know. But I did see Ouch 110 did a review on that De Profundis, I think, and that looks good too.
They're moving some of the best fragrances to the bell jars and the skyscrapers. Yeah, because money.
I know.
People spend more money. And then there's also that line that has like, it's like gold, the gold front. I don't even bother with those. There's like these Serge Lutens and they have gold labels. Like they're not even like paper labels. They're like embossed into the bottle. And those are obscenely expensive. They're like $500 or something.
I don't think I've ever seen any of those.
Yeah. But yeah, Serge Lutens, you can only purchase from their website. They're not available for retail in the US. They are still available for retail in Canada. You can go into department stores, and they're readily available actually in some department stores in Canada. But yeah. And most of them are unisex. So it just circles right back to the topic for this evening. Yeah. So I think it's a good time to close things off. We've had a good run, 2.5 hours. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. It is at this time, ladies and gents, that I'm going to be reading the guest that we'll be having in the coming weeks.
Ah, nice.
So this is an official announcement. These have all been booked. So next Tuesday, October 11th, we have Pep, the Sentinel, who will be joining us.
Awesome.
On the 18th, Eugene will be joining.
Ah, nice.
You Smells Good. 10/25, October 25th, Mr. Clean will be joining. November 1st, Dave of Callie's Groom Room. November 8th, Henna, CanadianBeauty.com.
Oh, I can't wait.
November 15th, Dimmy, Eau d'Orange Vert, Sorcery of Scent, will be joining me from Perth, Australia. So it'll be a morning visit from him. The 22nd of November, Tammy of Tammy Loves Fragrances will be here. The 29th, Aram V. Aram will be with us for November 29th. December 6th, Rafi, Fragrance and Philosophy. The 13th of December, Nick, Scent Remix. And December 20th, Rudy, Time to Musk Up.
Wow.
And December 27th, the man himself who has helped me greatly in promoting this channel over the past several months, for which I am indebted. Dan, Mr. Smelly, will be joining me on December 27th. And January 3rd, Olfactophiles, Tara will be my guest. And then to be announced, she was on her way to Budapest but I have discussed having her in January. Dana Sandu of the Nose will be joining me. The date is yet to be announced. So that is our
lineup, JJ.
lineup for the next several
That's
months.
exciting.
Yes.
Great people on.
Great people, for real. I love it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
I appreciate you having me.
This is great. This is great. Well, everybody enjoy the rest of their day or evening, and I will see you all next Tuesday with Pet for Effluvium. All right. Take care. Stick around if you want to do a little bit backstage. All right, everyone. Take care. Bye now. Okay. Bye.